Jiang Ming has slain a Paradis expert and seized his origin essence. But the world's core trembles with a new invasion. The elders of the sacred lands convene and a devil army marches. Leave a like and subscribe to see if Chuyang Peak can survive the gathering storm. Since Jiang Ming knew he couldn't get any information from Shan Hu, he killed him without hesitation. After Shan Hu was dead, a gush of energy rose from his body, and Jiang Ming was overjoyed. He grabbed it, and just as he expected, it was the origin essence of a non-elemental world. It was 10 times stronger than the one he had gotten from Long Qian. Long Qian was a primal spirit expert, while Shan Hu was a parody expert. It's only one realm difference, and it increases by 10 times and saves me 10 years of work. Yang Ming was happy with the outcome. Now it was confirmed the beneficiaries of the reincarnation hall were not beasts or monsters but food for him. Although there was a world heart in his inner world, it was still tough and took a long time to transform into a real world. Now that he had the origin essence, things would be easier. Jiang Ming did not absorb it into his inner world instantly. Instead, he checked through it with the human path records, and he only started absorbing it after he was certain that it was fine. The inner world absorbed the origin essence in the blink of an eye. As the origin began to grow, more laws were formed. Some of the residual energy also merged into his body and made his physical body even stronger. He squinted his eyes and looked over Shan Hu's corpse. His corpse remained on the ground lifelessly. He had quite a few items on him, but none of them were technology gadgets. Did his soul get obliterated? Jiang Ming thought for a while. He found 2 items on par with the supreme-grade Dao vessel and 1 forbidden weapon on the same level as an imminent immortal weapon. Honestly, Jiang Ming was kind of surprised. If Shan Hu was an extreme path expert, Jiang Ming was confident that he would be able to escape from him. He took all his items and clapped his hands, reducing Shan Hu's corpse into dust and blowing it away with the wind. Meanwhile, Liu Yu and Ming Hai were planning their next move. Suddenly, the voice of the reincarnation system rang out in their heads at the same time. Before coming here, beneficiary Liu Yu, Team Black Tiger, activated the karma-severing feature. Now that your captain Shan Hu has been killed, team members' condition function has been activated. All of you will be notified when one of your team members is killed. The same thing was going on in Xiao Xuan and Ming Hai's brains. The boss has been killed? How is that possible? Liu Yu's face turned pale. We've activated the karma-severing feature. There's no way other people would know where our boss is. He has never shown himself, so how did he get killed all of a sudden? This is so weird. Could it be that a powerful being killed him? Ming Hai said. His face was as pale as Liu Yu's. That's impossible. How many strong beings are left in Eastern region? I'm sure the Zhuyang sect killed our boss. Now that they've gotten both Long Qian and our boss, the Zhuyang sect is terrifying. They aren't as simple as they seem to be. If they could even kill our boss, then how about us? Liu Yu's expression changed and she stopped speaking. Ming Hai froze. They looked at each other and they could see the fear in each other's eyes. At the same time, a figure had appeared before them. It was Yang Ming. After killing Shan Hu, he pinpointed their location with the human path record as he was worried that they might run away. As soon as he arrived here, he activated the Great Akasa Cage technique and prevented them from running away. IU the human path records appeared and hovered over his head. Liu Yu Ming Hai? Jiang Ming shouted. Who are you? Liu Yu asked, her face filled with trepidation. Are you the one who killed our boss? Are you talking about Shan Hu? Yes, I'm the one who killed him, Jiang Ming replied. Do you want to live or not? Of course, but how? Liu replied without any hesitation. Ming Hai tried to activate his special ability but to no avail. He then chose to use one of his forbidden weapons. However, the weapon was destroyed as soon as it shot out of his body. Ming Hai was taken aback, and his face turned ashen pale. Tell me about the other friends, Jiang Ming said with a grin. If I'm happy with your answer, I'll let you go. He's Ming Hai, a primal spirit expert. Liu Yu said without any hesitation. Long Qian, who you killed, was a primal spirit expert. Our boss Shan Hu was a Paradis expert. We have one more member. His name is Zheng Xuan. He's a Paradis expert too, and he's currently inviting other experts from other provinces to Qing province. What else do you want to know? I'll tell you everything. All I ask for is just let me live, Liu Yu pleaded. Liu Yu, how could you? Ming Hai snarled. Have you forgotten about our vow? Even if we weren't born on the same day, we should die together on the same day. We will go through thick and thin together and keep each other's secrets. Now that our boss is dead, I won't blame you if you don't want to avenge him, but how could you leak our information to our enemy? You'll die a gruesome death, Liu Yu. This man comes from the Zhuyang sect, and he's far stronger than us. Since he knows that we're plotting against the Zhuyang sect, how is there any possibility that he would let us go? I don't want to die. It took me long enough to come here, and there's no way I'm giving up my life just like that. Liu Yu said, her face contorted with rage. Besides, we're just hired by the experts from the Faux sect, so what does it matter if we say it out loud? Our boss is dead, Long Qian is dead, so if both of us are dead, who is going to protect our clan? Ming Hai's face was filled with remorse. Jiang Ming lifted his eyebrows and looked at them. The human path records was opened up. Name, Lu Yu. Status, she was caught between laughter and tears. Her boss was killed, but the reincarnation notification feature was activated at the same time. They came here just to get rid of the Zhuang sect. They had never made any enemies yet, so the one who killed their boss should be the expert from the Zhuang sect. She was worried about herself since even they could discover her boss and kill him. She had been ambushed when she was attacking the Zhuang sect, and now she finally saw the reason why the person had not killed her on the spot despite having the ability to do so. Now that he had found her, she noticed that she couldn't break herself free from the constraint no matter how hard she tried. She wondered if the man before her was one of the beneficiaries of the reincarnation hall. After all, not only did he know their boss was Shan Hu, but he also knew their names. However, there was one thing she couldn't understand. Since he knew who they were, why did he not kill them instantly? He had mentioned all of their names but Xiao Xuan's. Did this mean that he still did not know about Xiao Xu's name? Since he did not kill them right away, she felt that she still had a chance to get away from here. She then formulated a plan with Ming Hai and pushed all the blame to the faux sect. At the same time, she swore to God that she would keep Zhao Xuan's real name a secret with her life. Jiang Ming sighed inwardly. He still did not get Xiao Xuan's real name, and it seemed to him that Zheng Xuan was a fake name. He tried his luck at Ming Hai's status, but it was the same, smack. He did not want to waste his time with these two people anymore, and killed them in one strike before proceeding to absorb their origin essence. Xiao Xuan, huh. Mumbling that name, Jiang Ming shook his head and went back to the Zhuang sect. Xuan was eating his meal in a restaurant, his face grim. I've done everything I could do. If everything goes well, the Zhuang sect's fate will be sealed. The faux sect has sent in 3 teams, and 2 Paradise experts are going with them too. One of them had their sect destroyed, while another had their families slaughtered. Both of them hated the Zhuang sect to the core. They would certainly go to get their revenge when they found out that one of the first seats of the Zhuang sect is from the Devil sect. Maybe other Paradise experts would go after them too. I guess I should get back after I finish my meal. Maybe I could provide them with some help somehow. As the thought surfaced in his head, he froze and his face turned pale. Our boss is dead? But how? Xiao Xuan was stunned. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath to calm himself down. Did the Zhuang sect kill them? If this is the case, it will be terrible. Lu Yu and Ming Hai, However, he did not do that and just went on to finish his meal. After a short while, Yao Xuan was stunned again. Beneficiary Yao Xuan, your team members Lu Yu and Ming Hai have been killed. You're the only one left in Team Black Tiger. Please complete your mission as soon as possible. The notification that popped up in his head was short, but Wang Xuan felt so cold as if he had fallen into an ice cavern, as fear trickled down his spine. They killed 4 of us before we could even make our move? How did they do that? I'm afraid they're coming for me next. Wang Xuan checked his remaining points and shook his head helplessly. He did not have enough points left to cover the penalty for failing the mission or forfeiting the mission and going back to the reincarnation hall. I guess I have no other choice but to wait until the time runs out by itself. As for revenge, he did not even dare to think about that. After he finished his meal, he turned into a beam of light and went in the opposite direction of the Zhuang sect, Chuyang Peak. Senior brother, have you gotten rid of them? Ling Long jumped and coiled her arms around Jiang Ming's neck. Yes. Jiang Ming sat on the rattan chair and put his junior sister beside him. Mind your manners, junior sister. People are watching. Well, it isn't that she's an outsider, Ling Long said nonchalantly. Jiang Ming was rendered speechless. Shi Yao glanced at them and flung her sleeve. As she flew away, she said, "Can you two stop being so lovey-dovey in front of me? It stings my eyes." "Well, you're always welcome to join us," Ling Long said, chuckling. Shi Yao froze and nearly fell from the sky. Xiang Ming patted his junior sister and said, "Stop teasing her. She's a holy daughter. Don't you want it?" "Want what?" Playing dumb again, huh? I don't believe you don't get what I'm trying to say." "Of course I don't know. What are you trying to say? You want her to be your woman too?" "What are you talking about? You are all I need. Why should I need another woman? Really? Of course." "You're lying. Look at her. She has a good personality, good cultivation level, good status, and most importantly, her body figure is one of the best I've seen. Do you need my help? If you want, I can help you to take her down. Seems like you're looking for some beating. Come at me." 3 days later, under the gazebo. "Senior brother, I had no idea that the sexual cultivation technique is so good. Not only could I reach the peak of the Tao Seed realm and perfect the 5 elemental Symbota, but I also tapped into the wood, fire, earth, metal, and water, these 5 laws. You're so awesome, senior brother. Can we do it again?" Jiang Ming rolled his eyes at Ling Long. After that, he looked outside of the Zhuang sect. A lot of experts had gathered outside of the Zhuang sect. It seemed to him that they were the team that had come to destroy the Zhuang sect. Some of them were the disciples of the faux sect, while the others were primal spirit experts. There were even a few of them who had reached the Paradise realm. "Senior brother, should I go and meet them?" Ling Long asked as she popped a grape into Jiang Ming's mouth. "Nope." Jiang Ming shook his head. Our sect is in need of a war to establish our reputation as well as to polish our members. If we take the lead in everything, the disciples of our sect will be ruined. But many people will die if we don't do anything. There's nothing we can do about it. There is no war without casualties. Only after experiencing death will they grow up and put more effort into cultivation. However, we need to watch over our master and Yin Yu. Alright, both of them continued to enjoy their time together while Yan Yan went to negotiate with their enemy. However, their enemy refused to back down. They wanted Yan Yan to hand over Yu Cheng as well as let them go into the Juyang sect to run a check through the entire sect. It was obvious that Yan Yan would not allow them to do that. Since they could not come to a consensus, they had no other choice but to fight. Yan Yan did not activate the Life and Death Disillusionment Formation Disc despite the enemy having destroyed the original Protection Formation. He was going to wait until more of them were inside before activating the Life and Death Disillusionment Formation Disc to defeat a bunch of them in one go. However, there were quite a number of primal spirit experts, so it would be hard to get rid of them. The war ensued, and the air was filled with the smell of blood. Jiang Ming rose to his feet and looked toward the mountain gate. There were a total of 7 Parades experts, 3 experts from the Faux sect. When they saw another formation, all of them were startled. Are you not going to help them? Shi Yao came over. Although the formation is powerful, there are too many primal spirit experts. Some of your friends may die. Do you want me to help them? With the help from the formation, I think I can hold back 2 of them. It's not necessary, Jiang Ming shook his head. I'm sure the sect master can handle them. As for the rest of the parody experts, just let them be. There are parody experts among them. Shi Yao was shocked. At the same time, the combat mannequin at the cliff turned into a streak of light. He dashed forward and soon arrived at the battlefield. He's so strong, Shi Yao exclaimed. Is he your guardian? Jiang Ming just smiled at her without replying. He turned around and looked in the other direction. There was nothing but clouds in his vision, and hiding amongst the clouds was an expert. He was watching the war. He's the person who was attacked by 2 extreme path experts from the Yinmo sect that night. He wasn't from the Devil sect, but he's one of the Juyang sect. Not only that, but he seems to have some immortal weapons with him. The man was none other than Qing Fengzi, and he was watching the combat mannequin. Nothing that happened in Eastern region could escape his eyes. He knew that a group of experts was coming to destroy the Juyang sect, so he came here to check it out. It would be best if the Juyang sect could go down the drain like this, but even if they could survive through this battle, he could learn more about the Juyang sect too. Suddenly, Qing Fengzi felt a chill down his spine as a bad feeling rose from his stomach pit. Without thinking twice, he went away. He's sharp. Jiang Ming shook his head as he looked at Qing Fengzi's departing figure. He was wondering if he should kill King Fengzi just now, but he did not expect King Fengzi to be so sharp. He turned around and looked toward the mountain gate. The combat mannequin was currently fighting with 7 Parades experts. He had killed 1 just now, and the remaining 6 had joined forces to fight him. Yang Ming watched the battle with his hands clasped behind his back. The human path records was opened. I finally found you. Yang Ming's eyes glowed with joy as he dashed toward the person. The combat mannequin had led the 6 Parade martial experts away. His sword was sharp, and he had sent one of them flying away. The other 5 were not perturbed. However, while he was flying in the air, the space behind him suddenly collapsed, and he was sucked inside. When he appeared again, he was already in another area. The middle-aged man looked around and noticed that he had now gone very far away from the battlefield. Who are you? He asked. He has mastered the spatial Tao and transported me here. This person is strong. Jiang Ming did not reply to him. He put his finger on his forehead and entered his parody. Inside the middle-aged man's parody was a sea of fire. Apparently he had comprehended the fire law. The core of the parody was where the soul was. Jiang Ming activated the soul special ability and destroyed the middle-aged man's soul. After that, he began reading his mind. A few moments ago, he had noticed a message from the human path records that interested him. That's why he had decided to make a move. Name K-Bin status, instigated by a strange strong man with a broken family to join together to besiege the Juyang sect in revenge. There was only one simple line in his status. Jiang Ming reckoned that the person should be at least as strong as this middle-aged man. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to convince him so easily. The first person who came into Jiang Ming's mind was Xiao Xuan. That's why he decided to come after this middle-aged man. Several minutes later, he found a piece of memory in his mind. Inside of the memory, he was talking to a young man. He's wearing glasses? It's you, right? When the thought surfaced in Jiang Ming's head, he used the karma law and located a causal line easily. The causal line was thin, and it seemed as if it was going to break at any moment. He clipped the causal line with 2 fingers and activated the karma law. Then he noticed there was a strong person on the other side of the causal line moving at a fast pace. Well, it seems like I have to act now, or else the little mouse is getting away. Jiang Ming chuckled. He grabbed K-Bin, tore open the space before him, and jumped into it. Soon he appeared in front of a young man. Wang Xuan, do you know how hard it was to find you? He sealed the surroundings as soon as he appeared, as well as summoned the human path records. The young man's information appeared before his eyes. He was none other than the last member of Team Black Tiger. You're fast. Wang Xuan was stunned. He pushed his glasses and could sense his surroundings were sealed by a force that he could never break through. Knowing that his fate was sealed, he sighed. You're the one who killed them, aren't you? It must be it. We've been keeping a very low profile, and will escape whenever we sense something isn't right. We even severed the karma between us before we came here to prevent other people like you who have mastered the karma law from locating us. But little did I expect that you would find my boss. Well, the world is pretty small. All you just need to do is look, and you'll be able to find it. Jiang Ming smiled. That's not possible. It's easier said than done, Wang Xuan refuted calmly. The karma between the five of us was severed, and you didn't know who we were, so it's impossible that you could locate us. However, you were able to locate us, and I could only think of one reason. You know about us, or else there's no way you could find us, and you would never be able to know where I am through K-Bean. You have comprehended the karma law, know about us, and even know there are five of us. If you lack one of these three elements, you won't find us all out. Jiang Ming smiled and did not say anything. Wang Xuan was right. Without the human path record, even if he had fully mastered the karma law, he wouldn't be able to find them all, let alone knowing that there were five of them. You're going to kill me, right? Wang Xuan sighed. Can you tell me who you are? But I'm sure you wouldn't tell me. Sigh, when I was young, I kept struggling to survive. When I entered the cultivation world, I wanted to control my own destiny. When I attained power, I started to yearn for longevity. When I am trapped, I long for freedom. One would have a different goal in different life stages, but in the end, all of us will return to the same place with our unattainable dreams. People would have different goals in different stages of life, Jiang Ming said. You've put my family in danger, so I have to kill you. There's no right or wrong between us. We're just in a different position. Since I found you today, I won't let you go. As for, he pointed above his head and continued, just say as much as you can. All right, Wang Xuan smiled. You're right. There's no right or wrong between us. We're just in a different position serving different masters. Since I'm going to die anyway, there's nothing I should worry about. When all of us are wiped out, there will be other people coming. But this will follow a certain set of rules. It won't exceed a certain tolerance limit, and it's relatively fair. However, one special condition will trigger the destruction of the world. Wang Xuan's expression suddenly froze as notifications began to ring out in his head. First warning. Beneficiary Wang Xuan, you've intentionally leaked information about the reincarnation hall. Second warning. Beneficiary Wang Xuan, stop whatever you are doing right now immediately. Ding! Beneficiary Wang Xuan, you'll be executed for revealing important information about the reincarnation hall. There was a smile on Wang Xuan's face, but the light had left his eyes. His soul had been destroyed and his memories were gone. A stream of energy appeared from the top of his head. Jiang Ming grabbed it and he felt exasperated. He lifted his head and looked into the sky. Then he stomped and a crack appeared on the ground. He buried Wang Xuan's body into the ground and closed up the crack. As for Kai Bin, he reduced him into a blood mist with a stomp. More of them are coming, huh? As long as they have the guts to come, I'll make this world your grave. But he said something about world destruction. Is it something to do with a world-destroying mission? I guess I should ask Jun Sangyan when I see him next time. Jiang Ming pondered and returned to Qing province. The battle was still going on. The combat mannequin had killed another 3 parodies experts. There were 3 experts from the Faux sect left. Just when they were about to get defeated by the combat mannequin, a Buddha palm appeared and smashed the combat mannequin into the ground. An extreme path expert from the Faux sect, Jiang Ming smiled coldly. As he looked in the direction the human path records was opened up. Name Shiguang race, human gender, male cultivation base, extreme path realm background. One of the supreme elders of the Faux sect, relationship, 0 innate talent, 10 stars status. The Faux sect lost to the 5 devil sects intentionally and hid to shatter the predicament of getting confined in Eastern region and spread their influence to the rest of the world. He came to Eastern region secretly to support the 7 teams that had been sent there to spread their influence. He was furious when one of the teams in Qing province was wiped out. When he learned that one of the first seats of the Juyang sect was from the devil sect, he knew his chance had come. He could publicly punish the Juyang sect. He first sent 3 teams to attack the Juyang sect. Little did he expect that an extreme path expert would appear and stand in their way. He watched silently as the extreme path expert defeated 4 parodies experts. When the lives of his members were in danger, it was only then he decided to step in. 7 parodies experts and 1 extreme path expert. They must have wanted to take advantage of the situation in Eastern region. Otherwise, they wouldn't have sent in so many experts. Generally speaking, they would be able to establish a foundation in Eastern region with such a team since the Qingyun sect is in a weakened state right now. Unfortunately, they have offended someone they should never be offending, and that's me. It is just that I didn't know the Faux sect deliberately lost to the 5 devil sects. They really are a bunch of lunatics. Jiang Ming shook his head. Now I can confirm that the 5 devil sects are going to get destroyed soon. He threw a palm strike into the distance with that thought in mind. The palm strike turned into a sword and killed the extreme expert from the foe sect. Extreme path? They were nothing to him. "'Twon't let you all get your way," Yang Ming mumbled before returning to Chuyang Peak. That night, the combat mannequin went on a rampage. He first killed 7 Paradis Realm experts and then traversed into Eastern Region and beheaded all the foe disciples who came forth. There was a saying about Eastern Region not having any Buddha, and it really became true. The Juyang sect also went crazy, slaughtering their enemies. Countless experts trapped by the Great Formation were decimated as the bloodshed slowly formed into streams. However, the Juyang sect also suffered some setbacks where many hilltops were shattered and numerous disciples were killed. God knew how many Eastern Region experts could sleep peacefully that night. Early in the morning in the Qingyun sect, Holy Lord Ming Yuzi and Supreme Elder Qing Fengzi stood silently as they looked in the direction of the Juyang sect, their expressions solemn as ever. Numerous primal spirit experts, 7 Paradise experts, and even an extreme path expert were all killed. Ming Yuzi muttered in a trembling voice, "How does the Juyang sect have such a strong background? It's not 7 Paradise experts, but 10. All who came from the foe sect were killed, and there was no one left standing. It was ruthless." King Fengzi exhaled a mouthful of turbid breath that turned into a gust of wind swiftly sweeping through the horizon. "I am now 50% sure that the overnight annihilation of the alliance between the Yinmo sect, Long Yuan, and Submerged Dragon Immortal Union had something to do with the Juyang sect. The Juyang sect was always under our surveillance all this while. How could such a strong person suddenly appear? It shouldn't be possible." Ming Yuzi could not wrap his head around this fact. Yes, it really shouldn't be possible. Qing Fengzi was also confused. Whatever the case is, we cannot continue probing the Juyang sect now. Before we can get to the bottom of it, we should only wait and see from afar. By the way, secretly pass the news to the Infinite Alchemy Pavilion. Tell them that their holy son's death was the Juyang sect's doing. Was it really them? It's very likely. There's even a chance that Tian Shi of the Tianyuan school being hunted down and killed was the doings of the Juyang sect as well. Whether it's really the case, just spread the news around. Alright. The 18th prince of the Great Zhou dynasty from Zhong province will be visiting the eastern region again. Should we secretly induce him a little about the Juyang sect? Although it won't be of great use, you can still try, but remember not to expose us all. Got it. Now that the eastern region's foe sect has been annihilated, will the western region's foe sect be enraged? Will they send over more experts? 1. They wouldn't. They can no longer take any losses. The two continued discussing and made their plans. On Chuyang Peak, standing in the pavilion, Jiang Ming sniffed the fragrance of the flowers and stretched himself as he muttered, "It's yet another wonderful day." He was in a great mood. The combat mannequin had long returned from its battle and was now sitting cross-legged near the cliff, facing the eastern direction. Many were killed last night. 5 elemental Linglong came over and snuggled next to Jiang Ming. However, after this battle, Qing province and even eastern region will not dare to provoke us anymore. A battle to determine the peace of the whole world. Jiang Ming smiled and asked, "What would you like to eat? I'll be making breakfast." "Brother, let me do it." "No, let me. Senior brother's the best. I like whatever you cook." "Alright then, wait here for a while." Jiang Ming did not go downstairs but instead took out a whole set of kitchen utensils and started preparing breakfast just by the side. There was no need for firewood or to get water from the wells. The fire needed was ignited with mana, and the water was condensed from spiritual essence into liquid. It was much simpler. It didn't take long before breakfast was prepared. It was a prawn porridge and soup-filled buns, a simple meal. Shi Yao, who was looking over from afar, started to feel jealous of them. "Im here for a bite," she yelled, flying over to them as she couldn't help herself. The prawns are still glowing even after they're cooked, and even Dao fluctuations are emitted around. "What level was the prawn demon?" Shi Yao asked. "Primal spirit level, just eat it," Jiang Ming explained. "The soup-filled buns are infused with the crab roe of a paradise crab demon." "That's so extravagant." Shi Yao could not help but grin. "My taste buds are getting used to all this pampering. What will I do in the future?" "Nothing." Ling Long snorted and started drinking the porridge. Although it was a simple breakfast, everyone ate with much relish. Ding! Congratulations to the host for preparing a scrumptious breakfast. You enjoyed the meal and so did the guests. Rewarded with a bottle of skeletal sword pill. The reward really took Jiang Ming by surprise. Skeletal sword pill. 10 tablets per bottle. When used by those below the Purple Mansion realm, it will help the consumer forge a sword skeletal system that improves the person's affinity with the sword Dao, allowing the consumer to learn sword Dao techniques in one go easily. alteration of the physiques, and even granting a talent. This is truly an overwhelming pill, but of what use to me? Jiang Ming shook his head before keeping the bottle of pills. He lay back on the rattan chair to enjoy the peaceful and chilling morning as the morning breeze swept softly. Suddenly, Gu Hai returned, his face betraying exhaustion. TM exhausted. Gu Hai sat right beside Jiang Ming, picked up the teapot, and chugged down the whole pot of tea. Immediately, the pores of his body started to spurt bright lights, and his exhaustion was completely swept away. It's still comfortable here. Gu Hai sighed. Many died? Yang Ming asked knowingly. Many were killed. Hundreds of disciples and many elders passed away last night, Gu Hai replied moodily. If it wasn't for the life and death disillusionment formation disc that you gave us, the Zhuyang sect's name would have been erased from existence. Speaking of which, the waves of aura from the aftermath of the great battle last night gave everyone the chills. How did the battle go? Gu Hai turned to his side and looked at the combat mannequin that was right on the edge of the cliff. He felt inexplicably safe. The foe sect was eradicated, Jiang Ming replied. From today onward, there should be no one above the primal spirit realm that will cause trouble here. Even if they do, they'll just end up dead. Don't worry, master. From now on, you old man can just live a happy life with Yin Yue and work on getting me a baby junior sister. You dare make fun of your master, you brat. Gu Hai was furious as he slapped Jiang Ming on the back of his head. He then smiled before starting to laugh out loud. Haha. Great, splendid. Our Zhuyang sect is finally rising to its glory. It's truly wonderful. Jiang Ming rubbed the back of his head and smiled helplessly. To think that he, a person who could even kill an imminent immortal expert, was getting the back of his head slapped. Anyway, this old man was the only one in the world who could beat him like that, if someone else tried. Master, what are your plans? Jiang Ming asked. Heal up, put our dead ones to rest, and then expand ourselves, Gu Hai replied. There is no rush for us to expand our sect. After all, the forces in Qing province are almost completely wiped out. The result will be the same whether it's sooner or later. Jiang Ming nodded in agreement. With the Great Eastern War followed by the carnage and bloodshed last night, how many experts were left in Qing province? The birth of an expert required an accumulation of time after all. This saddened heart of mine cannot suppress my restless heart. Just the thought of our Zhuyang sect's future of completely taking control of the whole Qing province and even expanding beyond it makes me ecstatic. I need to share this great news with your senior aunt Yin Yue and the sect master as well. Gu Hai stood up, smiling as he flew off. This old man. Jiang Ming could not help but smile as well. Peace and calm were restored on the mountains. The restless eastern region slowly calmed down. The 18th prince of the great Zhou dynasty and his group who had just arrived in eastern region were stunned. High above the skies, in the midst of the ever-flowing clouds, a 1,000-meter-long flying vessel was pushing through the sea of clouds moving forward rapidly. The 18th prince, Zhou Tian, stood at the top full of energy, with a blazing fighting spirit and extreme confidence. Ling Long, I've returned. I'll pay back all the shame you've brought upon me, and I'm going to get you for sure. I'll make you my slave and let the Zhuyang sect submit under me. Zhou Tian placed his hands behind his back, as his face was brimming with overbearing pride and arrogance. At that very moment, an old man walked over and whispered, Your Royal Highness, I've just received news that the Great Qing Province battle last night has affected the entire eastern region. Great Qing Province battle? Affecting the whole eastern region? What's going on? Zhou Tian asked in confusion. The old man was the one who acted as Zhou Tian's guardian, Chang Yun. He followed along this time reluctantly. The first seat of one of the Zhuyang sect's peaks was discovered to be of the Yinmo sect, instigated by someone Qing province, along with many forces of eastern region, gathered to form an alliance and besieged the Zhuyang sect. However, they were the ones who were countered and killed. Even the foe disciples who came to preach in eastern region were all killed. All the foe preachers were killed. Zhou Tian was shocked by the news. As far as I know, the foe preachers were at the very least led by a parody expert, right? Yes, that's right, Chang Yun answered. They were still killed? There were 7 parody experts and 1 extreme path expert. All of them were killed and none survived. How is that possible? Is this piece of news reliable? Zhou Tian drew a cold breath. The news came from the internal departments of the Qing Yun sect. It's extremely reliable. How is that possible? How can the Zhuyang sect be so powerful? Don't understand this either. Your Royal Highness, do you still want to head toward the Zhuyang sect? Zhou Tian's mind was completely jumbled. He had wanted to subdue the Zhuyang sect and capture Ling Long one moment ago, yet the very next moment he found out that the Zhuyang sect had annihilated the Eastern Region Alliance, that even included 7 parodies experts and 1 extreme path expert of the foe sect. Zhou Tian thought someone must be pulling his legs and that it was more nonsense than a dream. Yet he had no choice but to believe it. Your Royal Highness, we are still marching in the direction of the Zhuyang sect. We are very near now with only 10 or so thousand miles away from them. Chang Yun reminded him. Zhou Tian suddenly shivered upon hearing the reminder. Bathing under the warm sunlight, Yang Ming squinted his eyes as he swayed slowly. "Senior brother, why haven't you been cultivating recently?" Fire Elemental Linglong asked curiously. "You used to insist on cultivating every day, but now you seem to be quite lazy." Multitasking, Jiang Ming answered with his eyes still shut tight. "You might see that I'm just being lazy lying around, but I'm actually cultivating all the time." Multitasking. "Maybe you might want to try and make a few clones of yourself like me," Linglong suggested. "And why would I do that? Then we can try having our real bodies be intimate with each other and our clones between them." "I wonder how that would feel," Linglong answered. "Girl, you are getting naughtier these days. Sexual acts are actually proper business." Linglong lay on Jiang Ming as she started drawing circles on him with her fingers. "Hee, too proper." You and Spatial Linglong were quickly formed, but why is this next one taking so long? Jiang Ming wondered. "Senior brother, the third clone has already been formed and the fourth one is coming along soon. It's just that since I'm here by your side, the third one hasn't come over and is constantly cultivating. Should I ask her to come over as well?" "Senior brother, are you thinking of hugging two of us on both sides at the same time? Can you handle the two of us though?" Linglong asked as she touched his hips. Yang Ming titled his head and gazed up at the sky. There was something good about cultivation, for it made a man last longer. Yet there was also a downside to it, for it made his junior sister have a high tolerance. "Senior brother, I'm going to start cultivating now," Linglong said as she rolled over to his side, hugging onto Jiang Ming's arm with squinted eyes. It looked as though she had fallen asleep, but her heart was actually deep like the ocean and was cultivating special abilities. Yang Ming called up the human path records to check on the status changes of a few people. As he flipped over a few pages, he saw Zhou Tian's status. This 18th prince of the Great Zhou dynasty's status was very lively. Name: Zhou Tian's status. Having been humiliated at the Juyang sect's Chuyang Peak, he overheard that Ziling Long had defeated many holy sons and holy daughters and that even Tianci of the Tianyuan school was of no match. Thus, his mood suddenly improved a lot. After returning to the Great Zhou dynasty of Zhong province, he devoted himself to cultivation and leaped to the nascent Soul realm. Upon coming out of seclusion, he learned of the Great Eastern War and was shocked. It was the same time that the dynasty wanted to get their hands on certain rights within Eastern region. With the recommendation of the third prince, Zhou Tian came to Eastern region again. Sailing while leading an army on his war vessel, he came over this time with high spirits to redeem his dignity from the last humiliation, striving to subdue the Juyang sect and capture Ziling Long. Brimming with confidence, he also intended to take control of a province in Eastern region, making it a subdivision of the dynasty. When he was 10,000 miles away from reaching the Juyang sect, he got the news from one of the undercover agents in the Qingyun sect that, in the battle last night, the Juyang sect annihilated the foe sect, who had at least 7 parodies experts and 1 extreme path expert. Upon receiving the news, he was greatly frightened and turned the war vessel around, retreating swiftly. The Great Zhou dynasty. Why do I have the feeling that I'm going to have to face them sooner or later? Jiang Ming pondered. The previous lesson was not enough for this 18th price that he dared to return to the Juyang sect. He was fortunate to have received the news in advance. Otherwise, he was definitely not leaving this time. Jiang Ming had cut down this third prince with a karma slash who had turned the Juyang sect master's disciple into a puppet and tried to scheme in the shadows, but he didn't end up dying. Jiang Ming raised his hand, ready to behead the 18th prince. After thinking for a while, he let it go. As for the undercover agent that the Great Zhou dynasty had placed in the Qingyun sect, Jiang Ming was not surprised at all. In between these major forces, having undercover agents hidden among them was normal. On a mountain in western region near Zhong province, the area was entirely covered by an invisible array formation. Inside this mountain, there were a lot of Buddhist followers. In one of the Buddhist palaces sat around 20 people above the extreme path realm. Wu Hai, who went to eastern region, has returned to the arms of the Buddha. The rest of the disciples have also transcended into the ultimate bliss. Namo Amitabha, an old monk who had a golden halo behind his head, was the leader among them. Looking compassionate, he recited the Namo Amitabha and continued. The preaching in eastern region ended in failure. Zhong province faced some difficulties, whereas the southern and northern region have been straining. With such big changes happening in eastern region and even the Qingyun sect keeping this a secret, we do not know the depth of their background. Thus, I suggest that we ignore them momentarily. Zhong province is a place where luck converges and intertwines with many sacred lands. It is not a place that can be penetrated easily, so let's not even bring them up. As for the southern and northern region, as long as our plan is successful, the next step will be turning the place into our true place for preaching, becoming a Buddhist land. That makes sense. I suggest that we immediately initiate our plans to avoid any more sudden changes. Agree. It's high time to let the world see the supreme power of our foe sect. If this next step goes according to plan, the next targets will be the southern and northern region. Then, we will take down eastern region and finally surround the whole Zhong province. All the land will form our foe nation. They discussed among themselves and made up a plan. As for suffering a defeat in the last Eastern region battle, they did not care much. It ended up in failure, and so be it. It didn't matter much to the big picture. Then we will commence in 3 days. A decision was finally made. On Chuyang Peak, Jiang Ming stood on the rooftop, gazing to the west. He felt an indescribable agitation in his heart. Is something about to happen there? Jiang Ming frowned as he thought about it. Unfortunately, he did not get any news about it. He lifted his head and looked up into the sky, wondering, will the people from the reincarnation hall still descend to our world? I'm starting to miss them. He was really starting to miss these invaders. These beneficiaries from the reincarnation hall were like cheat codes to him. A primal spirit expert, parity expert, extreme path expert, and imminent immortal expert would save him 1, 10, 100, and 1,000 years of cultivation respectively. Therefore, how could Jiang Ming not miss them? Suddenly, the Supreme Order started to vibrate. Jiang Ming subconsciously dived into the Supreme Order and opened the Supreme chat room. Everyone, I found something strange that really shook me.
Spill it out.
You are dangling your findings in mid-air like this and caused me to be dangling as well. My little ladies have started complaining. Shoo, you old pervert, sooner or later you will die on a woman's belly. This is my pleasure. Such beauty, such wonders, such thrill. Yezhio, you indulge in your harem every day. I really don't understand how you are able to enter this chat room. Even if I'm not focused on my cultivation, I won't lose out when compared with you all. Heck, if I focus for just a little, I will probably beat you down the 9 streets.
Forget it.
If you continue living in the fast lane, I can assure you that you will not be able to join the chat room once you break through to the next level. I'm also worried. With my bleak future, I guess I will just have to find more mermaids and talk about life and dreams with them. Jiangge, my god, spill it out. I'm currently lying down motionlessly. Not taking the lead is not my style. Jiangge, you win. I was involved in a plundering event recently. There were 6 opponents in total. I discovered that their Tao energy was incompatible with those of my world. The auras emitted from their bodies had somewhat of a repulsion effect on heaven and earth. It was very strange. They were powerful. Even if I haven't seen them, I should have at least known something about them, yet they were completely unfamiliar to me. I captured one of them and thought of digging through their memories but couldn't find anything in the end. It was as if some type of energy was blocking his soul. Zhangyi, there was one of them who they called Captain. When I was about to kill him off, they suddenly disappeared. I tried conducting divination and even used the fresh blood from these invaders for it. The result was that there was no such person and no information was obtained at all. Not long after that, I could suddenly hear a voice in my mind inviting me to join some sort of Lord God space. It will allow a person to ascend into millions of worlds, scheming on endless opportunities and obtaining infinite benefits from it. A terrifying force enveloped my whole body with strength that even quaked my soul. Just as I was hesitating, the Supreme Order in my body suddenly vibrated and destroyed that voice. Yes, it literally destroyed the voice and directly dispelled the terrifying force enveloping my body. This seems to be a bit of a mystery, but with the existence of the Supreme Order, it doesn't seem difficult to believe that there is such a thing as a Lord God space. Though, I wonder what the purpose of that organization is and why they want to hunt you down.
I don't know why either. Could it be that this Lord God space and our Supreme Pagoda are actually enemies with each other?
Maybe they accidentally found you and sent people over to hunt you down. Wait, that doesn't make sense either. If they wanted to hunt you down, then why would they bother inviting you to join them? Dongfang Chenxi, there's an organization that can send people into other worlds here in my place, but they can only descend to some of the planar worlds. They select several talented disciples and send them over to other worlds to train them. Once they grow strong, they will become their soldiers. They are far from being comparable with the Supreme Pagoda in terms of function and power. Those that have descended over Zhangyis are probably just there for training. Once they discovered that you were too strong with great aptitude, they wanted to invite you over to join them but were ultimately rejected by the Supreme Order. These are just my hypothesis, so I'm not sure if they are accurate. Are there even that many organizations that can descend into different worlds? Using other worlds as their training grounds suddenly made me feel bitter.
Alas, I feel the same. Such bitterness, using us as if we're shepherds.
That's why I want to be happy and enjoy life. I've made up my mind. I will form another 18 harems. You lewd swine. You lewd swine. That, my sister, you are wrong. It should be a lewd dragon.
How shameless.
I'm just joking. Jiang Ming silently read through the screen, but his heart was actually racing profusely. The reincarnation hall had appeared here in his world, and a Lord God space had appeared over at Zhangyi's. He checked Zhangyi's status in the human path records, and it seemed he was not lying. Seriously, what kind of world is this? It's just a pile of mess. Jiang Ming was starting to have a migraine just thinking of it. Lord God space, reincarnation hall. the organization Dongfang Chenxi had mentioned, the Supreme Pagoda, and even the system he had. Gosh, this was more than a mess, it was just chaos. At that very moment, Jiang Ming came out of his subconscious, flew up into the air, and looked toward the west. The heaven and earth laws were trembling, creating waves of terrifying invisible aura, instantly sensible by those who comprehended laws. The laws were vibrating so vigorously as if the whole world was about to come down. How could such a change happen? Jiang Ming was greatly shocked. He then saw a golden ray of light bursting out from the western sky, engulfing the entire eastern region. Millions of golden rays took over the entire half of the western sky. Could it be that the Faux sect has put their plans in motion? As Jiang Ming pondered to himself, he noticed the golden rays of light started to accumulate and slowly formed a giant million-foot-tall Buddha overlooking the western land. Boundless Faux fluctuations were spread out and even reached eastern region. Jiang Ming also noticed that there were places throughout the world that had rays of light emitting from below, blocking the Faux fluctuation outside. What's going on? Zi Linglong, who was cultivating in seclusion, was startled. She leaped over beside Jiang Ming and looked west. She couldn't help but be surprised and muttered, Is this the Faux sect's ultimate card? This should be it, Jiang Ming replied after deep thoughts. The Faux sect has been rooted over a territory here for the past hundreds of millions of years. How deep could their accumulation have been after so long? Take Eastern region, for example. The Qingyun sect was the only one that stood strong, yet if the rest of the forces band up against the sect, they could probably make it. As for Western region, most of them are Buddhist believers. How can such a terrifying sacred land be easily taken over by the devil sects? This is a scheme. What's even more special is that the Faux sect is good at accumulating the power of faith. How much faith have they accumulated over hundreds of millions of years? I'm afraid the whole Western region should be the manifestation of this faith power. Nowi, it seems that the Faux sect's plan was very simple, which was to take the initiative to give up the sect and allow the 5 devil sects to have a taste of success. They were trying to trick the devil sects into thinking they were no match for them. If not, why would they give up the inheritance to their sacred land? Devils living in the lands of the Buddha are truly terrifying. It's akin to an enormous cage, a great place of danger. The Faux sect is thinking of using the power of faith to fight with the 5 devil sects and take them all down in one go. If all these devils were to be enlightened, that would mean such a great move, such a wild ambition. They are placing not only the sacred land or billions of years of faith, but also the ancient inheritance as a gamble. Once they emerge victorious, they will have enough to take over the world truly. The more Jiang Ming analyzed the whole ordeal, the more shocked he got, and the more he admired the Faux sect's courage. The Faux sect's ultimate goal is to take over the whole world? 5 Elemental Linglong's eyes gleamed as she was shocked upon listening to Jiang Ming's deduction. It is obvious that their goal is the entire world, otherwise they wouldn't have to go through all this trouble merely defeating the 5 devil sects. Jiang Ming sighed. The great Buddha of the West started to merge with the golden lights, forming a single entity, one that wasn't visible to the eyes of the commoners. Yet, the two of them could clearly see the enormous Buddha opening his mouth and uttering, forming waves and waves of enlightening illuminance that guided beings to enter the reincarnation cycle. Experts started to burst out with monstrous amounts of devilish power, trying to defy and resist the luminance, but were quickly smothered by the golden rays of light. This is fueled by the power of faith accumulated over hundreds of millions of years. I'm afraid this accumulated faith power will be totally exhausted whether they succeed or fail. The Faux master of this generation is really an amicable person, Jiang Ming exclaimed. Not only did it surprise Jiang Ming, but the holy lords over the world, extreme path experts, and even the imminent immortal great monarch all gasped when they looked toward the west, inexplicably shocked at what transpired. At the Qingyun sect, the 5 devil sects are finished. Or rather, the whole 6th path of the Sky Devil is doomed. Who would have thought that the arrogant and domineering devil sects who seem to have everything planned out would end up being the clowns schemed to the grave by the Faux sect? Qing Fengzi sighed. Holy Lord Ming Yuzi frowned and muttered, the Faux sect is really terrifying indeed. From the strength that they've portrayed, they shouldn't have abandoned their sect at all, yet they did. Was it all just to annihilate the devil sects? Or rather to enlighten them? Depleting endless streams of faith power, countless deaths and carnage the devil sects unleashed. All of these just to enlighten them? This is not just a simple act of enlightening them. The Faux sect's wild ambition is now clearly visible to the whole world. Qing Fengzi could not help sneering. We'll see if those scared lands in Zhong province can still sit still through all these. They didn't bat an eye when the devil sects brought chaos into the world. But what if it's now the Faux sect then? Now they are the real impending enemy. Is the world turning upside down again? If they really manage to enlighten the devil sects completely, I fear the Faux sect will start off by coming over to Eastern region. After all, the forces here are already few. When the time comes, what can anyone do? Ming Yuzi sighed. Qing Fengzi remained silent. Meanwhile, old Tai of the Infinite Alchemy Pavilion and Lu Chengkong of the Tianyun School had solemn looks on their faces. In Western region, millions of the devil sect's disciples were growling at the skies, unleashing waves and waves of destructive special abilities at the foe sect's golden lights, but to no avail. They were unable to shake the incomparably thick curtains of the fiery faith. One of them, a man with a pair of blood-colored engraved horns, roared at the sky. We schemed the entire world and made it as though we were targeting Eastern region, and yet we're actually aiming for the West. With a single war dictating our success, we've killed countless foe disciples and chased off the foe sect, thinking that our success was set in stone. Even though we've known that there's boundless power of faith in the world, we plan to turn over the Buddhas into devils, and that victory is surely ours. We even had ways to deal with the power of faith, but who knew that we were one step behind? Someone once said, the devil is the Buddha's anger, running rampant. The Buddha is the devil's heart, sinister and malevolent. But now I know how true this saying really is. UFO sect burned up your beliefs just to turn devils into Buddhists, rending the world into a true Buddhist nation. Such cruelty, everyone. The situation is dire now, so let's just kill everything. He, who was the supreme elder of the Shiluomo sect, roared toward the heavens, burning through the demon blood in his body as his aura started to rise, reaching a certain peak. He brandished an immortal weapon and launched his attack at the enormous Buddha figure. Waves and waves of demonic flames crashed through Western region's heaven and earth, yet were ultimately suppressed by the luminance of the Buddha. A great war erupted, shattering the skies. The Shulu Supreme Elder finally fell with a loud bang as his aura quickly declined. As he looked around, extreme sadness and angst were boiling, for he could see the devil sect's disciples getting killed one after another and, if not, transcended into the next realm. When he sensed his body's injury, his face slowly turned into a mocking smile. What's done is done. Once we lose this battle, it will be difficult for our devil sect to emerge once again in the future. Very difficult indeed. Well, if that's the case, then his face suddenly turned bloodshot ruthless and he reached out, grabbing in between his eyebrows. A token was ripped out of his primal spirit. Now that you've ignited and are burning through the power of faith, you've lost your strongest defense. Oh, intending to destroy us devil sects? I'll bring down catastrophe to your foe sect in return. The Shuluo Supreme Leader opened his mouth and spat a mouthful of spiritual blood essence onto the token. In the land of the extreme north, where ice-cold snow blanketed the land all year round with chilling wind blowing through like blades, it was difficult for even those of the core formation realm to survive. The land was extremely barren. Only a few cultivators followed the path of the Frost Dao that ever stepped foot here to open up caves and practice their year-round cultivation there. Even so, gazing through thousands of miles, not a single human figure could be seen. Beneath a 10,000-foot-high iceberg, a hidden space was opened up inside. There was a 100-meter round pool filled with blood that was engraved with complex engravings and inscriptions in it. The evil energy that was oozing out of the pool slowly accumulated and materialized into matter. The blood never coagulated under the extremely cold temperature, nor was it frozen, but it stayed completely in liquid form. There were a total of 81 crystal coffins, and each of them had a corpse in it. Through some method, absurdly terrifying power was sealed in each of these corpses, and even chains of orders were pinning them down. At that moment, rays of light bloomed as the blood started to ripple into the skies. Waves of terrifying aura were released into the air, completely drowning the cavern. The rippling blood continued vibrating as lines and lines of runes could be seen flowing out of it. At the same time, the 81 crystal coffins were suddenly engulfed in flames, forming rays of bright light as they beamed into the blood pool. Blood-red lines could be seen trickling out on the cavern walls. The whole place turned into an incomparably terrifying land of evil in an instant. It didn't take long before the corpses in the crystal coffins and the accumulated pool of blood disappeared completely, accumulating into a portal. The portal was bloodshot red, emitting a terrifyingly bad omen. After a short while, an extremely ugly creature with 2 heads on its shoulders emerged from the portal, its body radiating a suffocating aura of the evil spirits. It was followed by another skeleton being whose bones were of a dark tint of gold, suppressing terrifying power in them. This really is another world. A whole new world. I smell the smell of human flesh, such wonderful blood, and such alluring souls. Motoro, my soul is howling and my bones are trembling. I can hardly contain myself from going on a killing spree already. No hurry. According to the legends, the ancient county kings left a legacy over here and also left the coordinates to this place, awaiting the right person to inherit their legacies. Once the place of inheritance is opened, that will be our cue to start this feast of flesh and blood. Stand down and wait for orders. We need to wait for more people to arrive. Alright, you wait here. I'll go and inform them. Hurry. At Chuyang Peak, standing in the sky on Chuyang Peak, Jiang Ming felt the roaring wind ravaging from the west. He glanced over, spanning tens of thousands of miles away with his divine eyes, and had a general glance of the situation there. Even an eminent immortal expert equipped with immoral weapons stood no chance against the Buddha formed by the boundless faith power. The Faux sect is worthy of being the sect with the most hidden secrets, planning to eradicate the 6 paths of the Sky Devil directly completely. Jiang Ming was astonished. In his eyes, among the many disciples of the devil sects, a portion of them was completely disintegrated under the Buddha's luminance. Some were enlightened, while other big portions of them were turned from devils to saints. This kind of enlightenment completely distorted a person's mind and will, turning them into the most devout follower of Buddha. Even the devilish aura and power in their bodies were swiftly converted into the power of Buddha. It was truly mysterious and mind-boggling. Only those experts of the primal spirit were still left standing. These disciples would either end up dead or enlightened if this went on. There were no other possibilities left, exhausting every bit of their resources just to enlighten the devil sects. Although the cost was enormous, they were able to take over the devil sect's resources, so it seems to be a fair trade. No, it should be a huge profit. At that very moment, Jiang Ming saw 3 Buddhist monks launching their attack on an imminent immortal devil disciple. Under the suppression of the great Buddha, the 3 easily enlightened their opponent. That imminent immortal expert did not even have the chance to self-destruct. Jiang Ming's eyes were locked onto a cultivator who was smacked down from the sky by the great Buddha. When he saw that cultivator taking out a relic, for some reason it made him feel uneasy. He quickly opened up the human path records to look up this person's information. Name: Luo Baqian, race Shu Luo, clan, gender male, cultivation base imminent immortal realm, background supreme elder of the Shu Luo Mo sect, relationship 0, innate ability immortal, body of Shura, status originally of the human race, he had the blood of Asura flowing through his veins. He joined the Shiluomo sect and cultivated the techniques of the devils. He obtained great encounters that allowed him to reverse engineer his body into the body of Shura, cleansing away the bones and blood of the human race and ending his journey as a human. With an incomparably strong aptitude, he fought his way and became the holy son of the Shiluomo sect. He had wild ambitions to unite the 6 great devil sects and arranged his illegitimate son Luo Shali into the Yinmo sect. Luo Shali became the holy son of the Yinmo sect and later became the sect master. He was at the imminent immortal realm when Jiang Ming killed him. When he became the sect master, he secretly killed off countless experts, preparing a god-defying formation to turn his Shura body into the monstrous Asura demon body. He knew of the great secret that the 6 great devil sects were established by a few sky devils who descended into this realm tens of thousands of years ago. These 6 great devil sects slowly turned into the Sky Devil sect. These original founders left a great formation onto the coordinate of the realm that would be activated when an immortal god descended or if the devil sects were about to be annihilated. When he stepped into the imminent immortal realm, he got the news that the great formation was ready and prepared a blood pool, collecting 81 corpses of the extreme path realm tens of thousands of years ago. These corpses were sealed with boundless energy, ready to be evoked at any time. Only the imminent immortal experts of the devil sects knew his secret. After countless planning and scheming, he got a hold of the relic that could evoke the great formation and discovered its exact location. He also speculated that there must be a huge secret hidden in this Qianyuan continent. After countless investigations with no results, he made plans to scheme and collect the books from various sacred lands to uncover more. Feeling that the time was ripe, he took the opportunity of the Yinmo sect's plan to take over Eastern region and invited Long Yuan and the Submerged Dragon Immortal Union into the alliance as a cover to secretly take down the Faux sect in Western region. He planned on using the power of faith the Faux sect had accumulated over the hundreds of millions of years to forge his Asura demon body, allowing him to reach a realm that was never attained by anyone before. Even when he was enlightened, he wouldn't be just a small fry over there. Unexpectedly, he fell into the traps of the Faux sect like a tiger waltzing into a cage. It was even more unexpected when he discovered that the Faux sect could burn through the boundless power of faith to form a great Buddha that could enlighten anything and everything. It really caused his plans to fall through completely. He also understood that once he was enlightened, he would no longer be himself but merely a puppet to be manipulated by others. Yet, if he didn't want to be enlightened, it would only mean death. Since he was dying anyway, he planned to drag the whole world down with him and use the relic to activate the Great Formation without hesitation. As the gates open, chaos follows. Upon reading his status, Jiang Ming was shocked to think that the 6 devil sects had such a hidden last card. In the past, Jiang Ming had also killed a devil expert who was possessed by the Demon King's spiritual mind seed. He was now certain that the devil sects originated from the inheritance of beings from an even higher realm. Perhaps that was also why it was impossible to eradicate these devil sects completely. Unfortunately, the location of this formation is not stated in the status. Jiang Ming sighed helplessly. If he knew where the coordinate was, he could still rush over to destroy it. Even if there were devil experts who crossed over from another world, he could just kill them all. Yet, he had no idea where the place was, so there was nothing he could do. Yang Ming continued looking through the status of a few other imminent immortal experts, but none of them knew about it. At this point, Luo Baqian had already burned himself to death as all the threads of karma completely disappeared. Senior brother, anything wrong? Five Elemental Linglong, who was snuggled around him, asked. Great catastrophe is coming down on our world, Jiang Ming simply explained. He felt a little admiration for Luo Batian. This person had had the body of a human devil but managed to remove flesh and blood of his human side, reverse-engineered into the body of Shura, and later improved to become the Asura demon body. Putting those aside, he had become the holy son of the Shuluomo sect and even placed his illegitimate son into the Yinmo sect. The result? Both father and son had become holy sons and later the sect masters and finally imminent immortal supreme elders. This was not just exceptional, this was absurdly superb. Jiang Ming even thought to himself that if it were not for him, this father and son duo might have been able to unite the 6 devil sects and revive the glory of the Sky Devil sect. The Yinmo sect wouldn't have been destroyed if it weren't for him. With how the current situation had unfolded, Luo Shali could have simply led the experts of the Yinmo sect over, promising them great benefits with inspiring speeches to form an alliance with Long Yuan and the Submerged Dragon Immortal Union to launch their attacks on Western region. He could have rescued the 5 devil sects and even completely damaged the foe sect. Senior brother, what kind of catastrophe? Linglong asked. Foreign devils-induced catastrophe, answered Jiang Ming. Devil catastrophe. Linglong's pupil shrank as she looked over to the west. She thought for a moment, and there was a flash of a wry smile on her face. What's coming really came eventually. Just that it was too early this time. Fortunately, the senior brother in this life had obtained who knew what kind of immortal encounters and was now very overwhelming. Maybe he would be safe and sound this time. Jiang Ming did not notice anything unusual about Linglong as he hugged her and jumped down. Shi Yao had already come over to the rooftop when she saw the two land near her and quickly asked, Brother Jiang, what's going on? Foreign devils-induced catastrophe, Jiang Ming said solemnly. You should send news back to your sect. Just say that devil sects have been destroyed. But it opened a portal that connects us to the demons outside our realm. I think they've already descended. Let the Ryu sect inform the other sacred lands to be prepared and look out for the portal's location. Portal. Foreign devils-induced catastrophe. Shi Yao's face changed rapidly. Brother Jiang, is this piece of news accurate? Yes, it is. But no one will believe me when I pass back such a piece of news. Just tell them that the person looking over Linglong was the one who got the news. Spread the news. If they don't believe, then so be it. All right, Shi Yao smiled bitterly. Without turning over her back against the two, she took out a mirror and started writing the news using her consciousness as a pen, sending the news back to the Ryu sect. The drastic changes in Western region shocked the world. No one would have thought that the foe sect would lay out such a plan and have such courage to go through with it. Hundreds and millions of years of accumulation all burned out in one go, but it completely destroyed the 5 devil sects. However, what was even more unexpected was that this was only the beginning of a great catastrophe. Shi Yao stayed back at Chuyang Peak. To put it in her own words, there would not be a difference whether she was there or not in such a big catastrophe. She might as well stay there and continue training and improving her cultivation in preparation for the future. Foreign devils-induced catastrophe. Simply thinking about this brings chills to the core of my heart. Shi Yao was still unable to calm herself down. She looked over to Jiang Ming and asked, will you participate in this? Zi Linglong looked over at Jiang Ming as well, waiting for an answer. Jiang Ming was already lying on the rattan chair with his eyes still gazing at the far west. He gently shook his head and muttered, it's just like what you've said. There's not much of a difference whether I'm there or not. If I'm there, the catastrophe will take place, yet without my presence, the catastrophe will still take place. Twill naturally take action if these foreign devils come over to Eastern region, into Qing province. As for the others, let's just see what happens. After all, there are so many sacred lands there that have been plundering the world's wealth. It's high time they give their contribution. What you said makes sense, I guess. Shi Yao smiled wryly. At that very moment, the sound of the bell echoed. The 81 instances of the Might Bell evoke the power of order, spreading through the entire world. This is the immortal bell, Jiang Ming judged immediately as his face turned solemn. The ringing came from Zhong province. The Zhong province's immortal bell? Shi Yao's eyes flickered as she continued. I remember there was a legend that said, once the world faces a great catastrophe, the Teen Yuan school will ring the bell to warn the world of what had happened. The Teen Yuan school might have noticed the catastrophe already. After all, it is the oldest force still existing with the best deduction Dao and supervision methods. When the bell rings, it should also mean to gather the various sacred lands, right? Linglong asked. It should. Shi Yao kept silent after she answered. The mountain wind howled, repeating yesterday's monotony. Jiang Ming simply took out a book and read in silence. He did not care much about the drastic changes in Western region or the invasion of the foreign devils. The world was in turmoil, but hadn't it been like this for hundreds of millions of years? His biggest concern now was that the 10-year duration was approaching, He didn't know what benefits he would be reaping, but it was definitely worth looking forward to. There were also the beneficiaries of the reincarnation hall, and he wondered if they would descend. His inner world was evolving rapidly, but he still needed a long time before it was complete. Ling Long was quietly squatting beside Jiang Ming, whereas Shi Yao gazed afar with a slight frown. When the night fell, the great Buddha from the west disappeared, and nothing happened after. Jiang Ming closed the book and stood up to ask, "Girl, what do you think is the difference whether I involve myself with the catastrophe?" Ling Long was stunned at first but quickly understood what he meant. She couldn't help smiling and said, "Senior brother, how long has this world existed? 10,000 years, 100,000 years, 100,000 years, 100,000 years. How many disasters have occurred during this period? The world still came through as it is, but it's different this time. After all, this is a foreign devils-induced catastrophe. What about that year, when the Sky Devil sect emerged? Wasn't that an invasion by foreign devils? And the result? The world continues as it is to this day. Those ancient sacred lands surely know the origin of the devil sects, since they knew about it all along. Why were they still not eradicated? Well, one think they have the confidence for it. What confidence, you might ask? That would be the generations and generations of ancestors who have ascended into the higher realms. If the foreign devils really descend into our world, how can the immortal spirits behind the sacred lands ignore them? Can the sacred lands contact those immortal spirits that have already ascended? This is just my guess. Who knows? Senior brother, the world will not be changed by one person. No, it was about changing the tide. Alas, I still don't possess a normal perspective and calm heart. Jiang Ming sighed. During the Great Eastern War, whether it was because of his weakness or maybe because of a lack of intuitive feeling toward it, Jiang Ming had not participated in the ordeal. But after seeing all the misery that had happened in Eastern region, his heart had been restless, surging with great anger. It was only then that he had wiped out the entire Yinmo sect overnight. Till, go prepare for dinner. Jiang Ming took kitchen tools and started operating. Senior brother, I'll help you. Ling Long walked over as well. Till help out as well. Shi Yao didn't want to be idle either. Right now, being idle was kind of like torture. At the Qingyun sect, the Holy Lord of Ryu sect just sent over the news informing us about the foreign devil's invasion. I didn't dare to believe it, but how long has it been since the warning bell rang? Holy Lord Ming Yuzi sighed. You won't even have to guess to know. The devil sects were going to be destroyed, so they evoked their last resort, risking everything to bring over devils from foreign realms to drag the living down with them. What the Faux sect did was too extreme, leaving no chances to the devil sects. That led to this situation. Yes, the Faux sect was too extreme. Did they really want the devil sect's wealth, or did they discover something? King Fengzi frowned and continued. Whatever it is, the great catastrophe is coming, and we should just be prepared. Ming Yuzi smiled bitterly as he spoke. It has not been long since the Great Eastern War ended, and the sect suffered severe damage. If there's another devil-induced catastrophe like this befalling us, can we still resist them? We don't even know where these foreign devils descended from. Just wait. I'll go over to the Tianyuan school for a bit, Qing Fengzi muttered as he left the scene. Ming Yuzi started to gather all the disciples who were out in the world to get into a defensive state. The 18th prince, who had come over to the Qingyun sect as a guest, was in a daze. He originally wanted to cause trouble for the Juyang sect and had almost hit the rocks himself. Before he could even take the next step, he overheard the bell ringing from the Tianyuan school and also got news about the impending devil catastrophe. Let's return, Kang Yun advised. Even if we don't know what is happening, through the looks of the Qingyun sect's reaction and also the calling by the Great Dynasty, it seems to be an indication that it is a big problem this time around. It's only safer if we return. Do I really need to go back in despair? Zhou Tian's face was filled with unwillingness. Once I go back, I will still be suppressed and unknown to anyone. Can I only continue watching them dance around like that? I cannot accept this. We are not going back this time. This great catastrophe also means great encounters. Kang Yun frowned and asked, what can we use to get through this catastrophe? What can we use to get great encounters? We have the sacred lands to deal with this great catastrophe. As for encounters, well, this great catastrophe is our chance to take control and take over domains and manage our own forces. Zhou Tian couldn't help showing his joy as he thought of the benefits he could reap. Kang Yun looked at the 18th prince as if he was looking at an idiot. To hell with great encounters. This is courting death. If I cannot persuade him, then I'm not serving anymore, he cursed in his heart. One in the lands of the extreme north, the whole area was shrouded by a devilish soldier, not allowing any aura from leaking into the outside world. One by one, the devils got out of the portal, crowded together, waiting for the order to go out into the human world to kill and devour flesh and blood. In a certain space there stood a palace that looked atmospheric and grand. It had been floating and skinning through the endless chaotic torrent for who knew how many billion years. There were many creatures of different skin color and race in the main hall of one of the levels in the palace, either chatting or fighting around. Suddenly, an empowering voice rang through the entire main hall. Attention to all the beneficiaries. A B-grade public mission about exploring a sect of a perfect planar world is now being released. Once the mission is accepted, you will have to complete at least 80% exploration of the sect, or else you will not be allowed to forcefully return here. After accepting the mission, we will then impart detailed information about the mission. Reminder: the Sky Dragon team and Black Tiger team have been wiped out one after another. Tips: a maximum of 10 teams are allowed to go. Elders from different sacred lands, including the one from the Faux sect, had gathered up here. In normal times, everyone treated the Tianyuan school as if it was invisible. However, when an order was issued concerning the safety of the world, no sacred lands would dare not to come. Everyone, Liu Changkong said after everyone had taken their seats. He glanced across the crowd with a serious face and said, "The Tianxin bell is a divine tool created from the universe. It has the ability to communicate with the origin of the world, but today it chimed 81 times by itself, and this foretells a cataclysmic event that will destroy the world is going to happen. Before this, Venerable Fangxing from the Ryu sect sent a message to us. According to the message, the devil sects have been eliminated, but a portal has appeared, and devils from other dimensions are coming. The reason we summoned you all here is to inform you of the gravity of the situation. At the same time, we also want to ask if any of you know the portal's location so that we can destroy it as soon as possible. If not, things will worsen when the devil army arrives. The world will be destroyed and our land will be trampled on." Liu Changkong's voice was deep and serious. However, none of them replied to him as they all did not know about it. Toward the end of the meeting, they came to 3 conclusions. Look for the location of the portal. Prepare for the war. The Tianyuan school would act as the center of connection. Each sacred land issued orders to its affiliated forces on the same day. Many experts were patrolling around the land as well to look for the portal, but they could not find anything. At the Zhuyang sect, the people here were oblivious to the catastrophe that was about to befall them. After burying all of the disciples that had died during the war and fixing the mountain gate, they dispatched many disciples into different locations in Qing province to take over the properties of the families or clans that had gotten massacred and to bring all parties under their actual control. Disciples from different peaks were dispatched except Shuyang peaks. As for Ziyang Peak, the first seat had been killed and most of the disciples had been removed from the sect, leaving only a few of them behind. The sect master had no idea what he should do with Ziyang Peak. None of the remaining disciples were good enough to lead Ziyang Peak. In the end, the sect master governed over Ziyang Peak temporarily while he looked for a member to take over from him in the future. The Zhuyang sect was busy, while Jiang Ming was as free as he used to be. Today, the Great Zhou calendar, 20th October 9999. It marked the 10th year since the system had awakened. One more month. While Jiang Ming was reading a book, he kept his eyes on the watch. He did not have to cultivate anymore. The inner world would evolve by itself, so he hardly needed to do anything. That being said, he was still able to speed up the process by splitting his mind and integrating it into the inner world. As for special abilities, he did not need any of them anymore as he had too many of them right now. Winter is so boring without the howling wind and falling snow, Jiang Ming commented as he closed the book. He looked skyward and let out a sigh. The weather was basically the same for all 4 seasons. It was nice, but it was a bit dull. Not far away from him, Shi Yao was playing Wiki with 5 elemental Linglong. "Shi Yao," Jiang Ming shouted. "Yeah?" Shi Yao replied without lifting her head. She was playing with a white stone between her fingers, pouting. "The location of the portal hasn't been found yet?" "Nope. All sacred lands, including Long Yuan and the submerged dragon continent, are looking for it, yet none of them has found anything. I suspect that the portal must have been sealed as soon as it emerged. Once it appears again, I'm afraid that our world will be in big trouble. Will there be experts even stronger than imminent immortal experts? I doubt so. According to the ancient records of the sacred land, if a being more powerful than an imminent immortal expert appears, the sky will change. Then there's nothing to worry about," Yang Ming said as he rose to his feet. He looked toward the north, and a serious expression dawned upon his face. "What's wrong, senior brother? Did you find anything? Have you noticed anything, brothers Yang?" Linglong and Shi Yao stood up at the same time and looked toward the north. "They're here." Jiang Ming had noticed a dense amount of evil energy spreading from the land in the far north. It was so thick that it enveloped the entire sky and was rapidly moving toward the south. At the same time, there was also a strange, terrifying aura in the air, and it sent a chill down his spine. In the far north, tall figures appeared on the horizon one after another. They stopped the wind and caused the ice plain to collapse. "How terrifying!" Shi Yao's expression changed. "Will they keep on coming?" Jiang Ming asked. "I'm not sure about that either," Shi Yao replied, offering him a bitter smile. An idea popped up in Jiang Ming's head, and he entered the supreme chat room. Jiang Ming, an interdimensional portal has appeared in my world, and we're under attack by the army from another dimension. What I want to know is, will they keep on appearing through the portal? Group Lai Ming, just let me know if you need any help. I'll do my best to help you. If an interdimensional gateway appears, the cost is small as long as it doesn't exceed the limit of the power the world can bear. Generally speaking, crossing over the gateway is very difficult, even if there's an interdimensional portal. However, there's one particular situation that would be a problem if it were to occur to any tool. What you're trying to say is that there has been a similar occurrence in the past. After they've invaded his world, they gradually incorporate the energy of the other world into the world to reduce the rejection.
Tianfozi, exactly.
Group admin, have they come to your world before? Or this is the first time, Jiang Ming?
They've come to my world before.
The Sky Devil appeared in our world and established the Sky Devil sect.
That would be a problem. If they've set up a sect in your world, the rejection will be close to none when they come to your world through the portal again.
If the portal has stabilized, I'm afraid more and more of them will be coming. Group admin, I have something that might be useful in driving them off. Do you need it? Oh yeah, the most important thing you need to do right now is to find the portal and destroy it. Once the portal is destroyed, it will be tough for them to create a new one.
Tianming Feiruk forgot to ask, is it a passage opened based on the coordinates, or is it a gate that is established directly? Is there any difference between the two? Of course there
is. If it's the former, it needs to be maintained at all times, and every time it transports a living being, it needs to consume a huge amount of energy. However, if it's an interdimensional portal, it means a stable passageway has been established. It's the same as crossing from one door to another, but the other world will reject one after crossing the gate. Tianfozi, it requires a rare special item to create an interdimensional portal, not to mention that it takes a huge amount of mana to activate it. Group admin, don't care if it's a temporary passageway or a portal. What you should do right now is that you need to find the portal and destroy it. All of us here are ready to help. He of light scrolls and light divine weapons with me right now. I have plenty of light scrolls and light divine weapons with me right now. I'm ready to help. Me too. Luo Heng, Brother Jiang, I've prepared a team of level 10 spaceship. Robots pilot them so they can fly themselves. Brother Jiang, just let me know if you need anything. Brother Jiang, I've sent a team of level 10 combat mannequins to you. I'll send you more afterward. I want to let those people know the consequences of attacking your world.
Jiang Ming, thank you so much, guys. Jiang Ming, Chenxi, don't.
As the group admin, if I can't even defend against an invasion like this, I will only be bringing disgrace to you all and the Supreme Pagoda. Don't worry, as long as there aren't any level 10 to level 12 experts, I will be fine. If even our group admin can't ward off the invasion, no one can sure. In any case, I'll be here. Jiang Ming returned to reality and a smile broke across his face. There was nothing he should be afraid of since so many people supported him. Don't give me a reason to get mad. Jiang Ming looked toward the land in the far north and heaved out a sigh of relief. Today the Qingyun sect issued an order and demanded the Zhuyang sect send their disciples to the war. They could not disobey an order like this. Just when the sect master was about to rise to the order, Jiang Ming asked Li Linglong to stop him. He told him that they would only send an extreme path expert into the war. The rest of them would not join the war as they could not do anything other than add to the number of casualties. On Taiyang Peak, the sect master bowed at Chuyang Peak in gratitude. Swoosh! The combat mannequin rose into the air and came to the sky above the Zhuyang sect. At the same time, a strong burst of sword energy that reached the sky and shattered the clouds surged forth. The combat mannequin stood tall and flew toward the north, representing the Zhuyang sect to join the fight. Senior brother, it's just an extreme path combat mannequin. There's nothing it can do even if you send it there. 5 Elemental Linglong said worriedly. Shi Yao nodded. She felt the same as well. For a war of this scale, even an extreme path expert couldn't do anything, and there was a great possibility that they would perish. You guys don't need to feel sorry for it. It's just a combat mannequin. Yang Ming said nonchalantly, his gaze dark as he looked toward the north. Swoosh! The human path records was opened. Name Bone 36 races, Abyssal Devil Bone Clan Gender. Genderless cultivation base. Level 10 imminent immortal realm. Relationship. -6 innate talent immortal status. Cluelessly crawling out of the underworld, he adapted to the abyssal mode of killing, devouring, and growing. He set himself the biggest goal, to become a devil ruler and rule over an area of devil land. First, he aimed to become a fighter under the 9th Devil Lord. He did not meet the requirements since he was level 10, therefore he kept hunting and growing in the bottomless abyss. He was delighted when he was summoned to join the war in the human world. For him, the human world contained a lot of opportunities. Whether it was the blood chi or the soul of the living, it was great nourishment. If he could consume a lot of them, he was certain that he could ascend into level 11. He stepped into the interdimensional portal and came to another world with the rest of the devils. The air in the world was sweet and filled with plenty of vitality. It made him feel like he had arrived at a miracle land as he could feel himself had become stronger. Unfortunately, they were sealed underground when they first arrived. They needed to wait for more of them to arrive before they could start the real hunt. Finally, the seal was lifted, and the Devil Lord's voice rang in his ears. "My children, go forth and destroy. Turn this great human world into an abyssal devil land. When I'm born, I'll grant you endless blessings." Jiang Ming fell silent. All of these devils came from the abyss, and they were under the governing of the ninth Devil Lord. The only good news was that it was a small chiliocosm-level abyss. Looking at his relationship, Jiang Ming was certain that he was going to slaughter everything that he saw in his path. "I should go kill some of them and destroy the portal. If not, many people would die if more of them were to cross the portal," Jiang Ming said. He formed a clone with half of his mana and brought out the celestial soul bell. He gave it to the clone before going away with his human path records. In the meantime, a group of people descended at various places on Zhong Province and northern region's border. There were about 4 to 5 people each time, and there were a total of 20 of them. The teams were far apart from each other. A voice rang out in their head upon arrival. "Beneficiary of the Lord God, you've arrived at Tianyuan Planar World. This world is currently being invaded by the devils from the abyss. Team Zephyr is on the devil's side. I'll now issue the A-class mission. Destroy all sacred lands in this world in less than half a year, and help the abyss get their victory. 5 times the reward will be deducted as the penalty for not completing the task. Ding, beneficiary of the Lord God, you've arrived at Tianyuan Planar World. This world is currently being invaded by the devils from the abyss. Team Astral will be on the Guardian's side. I'll now issue the S-grade mission. Prevent invasion of the devils from the abyss. Exterminate all of them within half a year and destroy the interdimensional portal. 5 times the reward will be deducted as the penalty for not completing the task. Attention to all beneficiaries of the Lord God, this mission is Sanguine Adversarial Mode. Hunt and kill the opponent's beneficiaries to get the Sanguine Key and the opponent's items. There will be no rewards for killing people on the same side. Note: the number of remaining personnel on both parties is visible now. Team Astral's members looked at each other in dismay. They did not know how they should protect a world that was facing an invasion of the Devil Army through an interdimensional gate. "Cap, what should we do? It's an S-grade mission. We're definitely going to die." While it isn't totally hopeless yet, the first thing we should do right now is to look for other team members. Then, we'll get some information from the people here to find out everything about this world before formulating any plan. That's the only way now. There were 12 of them. The weakest of them was a level 8 expert, while most of them ranged from level 9 to level 10. However, all of them were worried. On the other side, Team Zephyr seemed rather happy with their assignment. "We need to team up with the devils? How are we going to do that? Those are real devils. I'm afraid they'll eat us as soon as we show ourselves in front of them. What should we do, Cap?" "Haha, don't worry. I've just found out through a special item that our opponent's defensive mission is S-grade, so what does that mean? It means that their task is almost impossible to accomplish, and relatively speaking, our task is much easier." "An S-grade mission? Damn, they're so unlucky. There's no way they can finish the mission. Haha, I can rest assured now. There's nothing to be afraid of as long as our opponent's mission is even more difficult than ours. Cap, tell us what we need to do." "Honestly, there's nothing we can do. Although we should team up with the devils, I'm sure they don't like us, so we aren't going to get in touch with them. Right now, we just need to rendezvous with the rest of the members. Then, we'll follow behind the devil army. I'm sure we'll be able to get a lot of special abilities or divine weapons." The members of Team Zephyr were excited. Suddenly, they looked toward the north simultaneously, and a surprised expression dawned upon their faces. There was a man on top of Bone 36. He had a bell above him and he was emitting a divine light. At that moment, even the snow and the wind had stopped. That person was none other than Jiang Ming's clone. Bone 36 jerked his head up and could sense a chill down his spine. He was very close to Jiang Ming, so he knew better than anyone else how powerful the man in front of him was. He was certain that he could easily kill him in one strike. The rest of the devils also looked toward Jiang Ming's clone. At the same time, the clone scanned across the area. It seemed to him that there were at least 1 million devils, and most of them were above the Dao Seed realm. If he let such a force swarm into the rest of the world, the danger it would bring would be absolutely incalculable. Without hesitation, the clone poured 80% of his mana into the level 11 Celestial Soul Bell and activated this immortal weapon. Dong! When the bell rang, it set off a storm that swept across the souls of the beings in this place. "Demon!" Bone 36 shouted, and before he could do anything, his soul was destroyed. His body crumbled away and he was dead. With him as the center, many devils fell down and their souls perished. In the blink of an eye, most of the devils were killed. Even if some of them could survive the attack, their souls were heavily damaged. The clone narrowed his eyes and looked at the interdimensional portal below the ice mountain. He lifted his finger and activated the Return of Infinite Law finger. The attack pierced through the ice plane, shattered the mountain, and went straight into the portal, causing the portal to get blasted while the devils coming out of it were killed. An angry voice could be heard coming from inside, but unfortunately, the interdimensional portal had crumbled away. The clone heaved out a sigh of relief and flew up high into the sky. He rang the bell as he said, "I've killed 90% of the devils as well as destroyed the interdimensional portal. I'll leave the remaining devils in your hands. Tianyuan School, Sacred Lands. If any of the devils get out of Northern Region, I'll come and destroy your lands, just like how I got rid of the Yinmo sect, Long Yuan, and Submerged Dragon Immortal Union." After he finished speaking, the clone looked into the distance. A strange expression appeared on his face before he vanished into thin air. Northern Region. Celestial ships appeared in the sky one after another. Each of them was at least 1,000 meters long, and there were a lot of figures standing on them. They were all experts who were ready to go into the battle. Behind the celestial ships were divine mountains and palaces. They all broke through the clouds and blotted the sun, looking just like a sea of dark clouds. Everyone, including Lu Changkong, had serious expressions on their faces. He knew the gravity of the situation after the opening of the interdimensional portal. Facing the invasion of the devils from another dimension, he was certain that half of the people here wouldn't be able to return to their homes anymore. Suddenly, all of them felt a terrifying power from the sky in the north. They lifted their heads and were shocked by the things that happened before their eyes. The sky was filled with an immense amount of immortal light. It shook the sky and caused the stars to tremble. All of them then narrowed their eyes, and they saw a human figure with a celestial bell above his head in the sky above Northern Region. "That's an immortal weapon!" Lu Changkong shouted. "Who is he? What is he doing there? I've seen this celestial bell before. I was nearly killed by it once," King Fengzi said, and his expression changed drastically. "I'd never forget what happened back then. This celestial bell triggered the Great War between the Qingyun sect and the Yinmo sect, as well as the series of events that ravaged through Eastern Region. In the next second, the celestial bell rang, and a destructive sound echoed. The sound wave swept across the surrounding area, reducing the group of devils into nothing but a pile of dust. Only a handful of devils at the far end survived the attack. After that, the ice plain cracked and the snow mountains crumbled. The entire northern plains nearly disappeared before their eyes, startling Lu Changkong and the others. Even an eminent immortal expert wouldn't be able to unleash such a terrifying power after activating an immortal weapon. What if he's our enemy? King Fengzi asked, his face pale with fear. His mana reserve is far more than that of an eminent immortal expert. He could bring out the full power of an immortal weapon, and that attack just now was equivalent to an attack of an immortal. This is a miracle, Liu Changkong added. Next, they saw the clone pointing at the ground and destroying the interdimensional portal. "The portal has been destroyed," Liu Changkong said, his voice thick with relief. After all, things would become very bad if they couldn't destroy the portal. Afterward, the clone's voice rang out and wafted into their ears. King Fengzi and the others frowned as an exasperated expression appeared on their faces. As people from the sacred lands, they had never been threatened like this before, and that person even said that he was going to kill them. However, they all lowered their heads in embarrassment when they recalled the earlier scene. After all, that person really had the power to destroy a sacred land. He's helped us get rid of the biggest problem, the interdimensional portal. Now, the devils can't enter our world through the portal anymore. Not only that, but he has killed 90% of the devils. If we can't destroy the rest, we should give up on becoming the guardians of the human race. Liu Changkong said, "Today I'll issue an order on behalf of the Tianyuan school. If any of you don't give your all and let the devils get away, the Tianyuan school will hunt you down." Qing Fengzi and his team's hearts sank, but there was nothing they could do other than nod. After that, they surrounded the entire northern region according to the plan they had formulated in advance. They sealed the entire region, and no one could get out of it. On the other side, the beneficiaries of the Lord God's space were stunned. How is that possible? The captain of Team Zephyr said as he looked terrified at the sky in the north. Isn't this just a planar world? How could that person unleash such terrifying power? He nearly wiped out the entire devil army and destroyed the interdimensional portal in one blow. He's even stronger than a level 11 expert. Now the mission level is at least SSS grade, right? I don't even know if we can survive or not, so how are we supposed to conquer this world? Since we're with the devils, it goes without saying that the people in this world won't let us go away so easily. Cap, what should we do? The captain stammered. In any case, what we should do right now is try our best to keep ourselves alive, so let's go into hiding. After the war is finished, we'll then see if there's anything we can do. There's nothing we can do. Cap, going into hiding won't do us any good. Judging from the situation, we're mostly going to fail our mission. If we don't earn enough points, we'll be eliminated. I suggest we go hunt some experts, clear some side missions, and earn some points. All of them panicked. Not only them, but Team Astral was stunned as well. However, after returning to their senses, they were overjoyed. He killed nearly 90% of the devil army all by himself? How is that possible? Could it be that I'm in illusion? I'm in an illusion too. It's not an illusion, it's real. Oh my goodness, the luck goddess is finally smiling at us this time. We haven't even done anything yet, and our enemies are cut into half. Even the interdimensional portal has been destroyed. Long live justice! All of them cheered as they rushed toward the north. On Chuyang Peak, Jiang Ming frowned after the clone had returned. Whoosh! The human path records was opened. Name Heiyao race, demon gender, male cultivation, level 10, imminent immortal. Background: the great monarch of the black-scaled dragon in the redstone planar world. Note: a beneficiary of the Lord God, a member of Team Zephyr. Relationship: 0, innate talent, immortal status. One of the beneficiaries of the Lord God was forced to take on an A-grade mission, help the invader to destroy the sacred lands in Tianyuan world. He originally was a mutated black-scaled dragon. He was rejected and bullied by his clan in his early childhood. His mutated bloodline became more and more powerful after he grew up, until one day he killed all his clan members, leaving no one behind. His strength grew even faster after getting invited by the Lord God's space and becoming a beneficiary. However, he knew that he might die at any time, so he created a new black-scaled dragon family to retain his bloodline. This time he had to team up with the Devil Army. There were 10 teams for each party, and the strength of each party was equally matched. He was overjoyed when he heard that his opponent was given an S-grade mission through a special item. However, his delight was short-lived. After seeing what had happened in the north, he fell into despair. He planned to go into hiding and wait for the right moment for him and his team to strike. He was going to hunt some experts to deal with the penalty for not completing his mission. Jiang Ming was rendered speechless. Even the beneficiaries from the Lord God's space have arrived as well. Jiang Ming did not know if he should be happy or sad. He was happy because he could get the origin essence from them after killing them, and it could speed up the evolution of his inner world. In the meantime, he was worried because he had a feeling that more and more troubles like this would show up since the Lord God's space targeted him. Just when Jiang Ming was about to go ahead and destroy both parties, he froze, and an amusing expression appeared on his face. While one disciple wearing the uniform of Haoyang Peak was flying toward another peak, he kept darting glances in this direction. He was in the core formation realm, and Jiang Ming could understand his action. After all, Chuyang Peak was no longer the same as it used to be. However, he had never seen this disciple before in the sect. Besides, Jiang Ming could see that the disciple had sealed most part of his strength away in a single glance. He was actually a parody expert. A parody expert? Jiang Ming gritted his teeth. Other than the Qingyun sect, he couldn't think of any other sects that had the audacity or were capable of doing this. If it isn't the Qingyun sect, it should be the Reincarnation Hall. Jiang Ming sighed. Swoosh. The human path records was opened once again. Name: Ho Renji race, human gender, male cultivation base, level 8 paradise realm. Background: a member of the Hu clan from Ji Planner World. Note: a beneficiary from the Reincarnation Hall, a member of Team Divine Flame. Relationship: -59 innate talent. 10 stars status. A beneficiary of the Reincarnation Hall. Receive the B-grade mission. Investigate the Juyang sect with team members. 10 teams worked on the same mission, and he felt it was weird. After discussing with his team members, they decided to take on the mission as well. After arriving in this world, they found out that the Juyang sect was not as simple as it seemed to be. At the same time, he learned that all of the experts that had invaded the Juyang sect were killed after the catastrophe that befell Eastern region. After that, he was even more dumbfounded when he learned that the Devil Army from another dimension would invade this world. To be on the safe side, he enslaved a disciple from the Juyang sect, replaced him, and came to the Juyang sect to check the situation himself. He knew everything about the Juyang sect save for Chuyang Peak. All he knew about Chuyang Peak was that there were 3 people and a level 9 expert living there. Jiang Ming frowned. 10 teams? All to investigate the Juyang sect? What the hell do you want, Reincarnation Hall? Are you investigating the Juyang sect? Or are you investigating me? Could it be that the Reincarnation Hall couldn't learn anything about me because of the system and the human path records? Myriad of questions flitted across Jiang Ming's head. What's wrong, senior brother? Ling Long came forward and wrapped her arms around his after realizing that something was not right. After all, they had been living together for so many years, let alone they had slept with each other on the same bed before. It went without saying that she could detect even the slightest change of expression. Well, a few bugs have infiltrated our sect, Jiang Ming said as a smile blossomed on his face. Don't worry, it's just a small matter. Do you need me to get rid of them? Nope. Honestly, Jiang Ming was not worried about them at all. After all, they were too weak to cause him any trouble. That being said, to be on the safe side, he still merged some of his power into the Akasa and enveloped the entire Juyang sect. Then, he was stunned. There were 10 of them who had infiltrated the Juyang sect. When he flipped through the human path records, he found something interesting. After learning that the Juyang sect was not as simple as it seemed, the captains had come to a conclusion that they would act together when they were outside while they would go separate ways to investigate the sect while they were inside. Jiang Ming did not know about them, but it seemed like a rather loose alliance to him. Jiang Ming then looked into them with the Karma Dao. and to his surprise, some of their causal lines were connected together on the outside. Are they overestimating themselves, or are they underestimating the Zhuang sect? Jiang Ming couldn't help himself but chuckle. He grabbed their causal lines, and 10 parody experts that infiltrated the Zhuang sect appeared in front of him. Their mana was sealed, and they couldn't even move a single finger. Senior brother, they are. Linglong looked at the 10 people that appeared out of nowhere. She pondered for a short while before saying hesitantly, I can sense that their aura doesn't fit in our world. What is going on? That's because they aren't from our world, Jiang Ming said after a short contemplation. Now that the reincarnation hall and the Lord God's space had appeared, he assumed that more of them would show up in the future. Therefore, he decided to tell the truth to his junior sister so that she could prepare herself for it. They aren't from our world? Linglong exclaimed as her heart sank. What? There is a devil army and now there are invaders from another world? Which world do they come from? By the way, why does it seem to me that my senior brother already knew about it a long time ago? Sigh, I'm getting more and more useless. I wonder if it's a wrong decision to cultivate the clone Dao, Linglong thought. Yeah, Jiang Ming replied. There is an immortal world beyond our world. However, there are countless other worlds beyond the immortal world, and these people are from there. Girl, you need to keep your eyes open when you're traveling outside in the future. Senior brother, are you chasing me away? Linglong said, her eyes turning red around the rims. What are you talking about? There's no way I would chase you away, Jiang Ming said as he pinched her cheek. After that, he said, let me take care of them first. Be careful, senior brother. Don't worry, they can't harm me. While he was talking, Jiang Ming had been looking at the human path records as well, and he found something new. Name Ho Renjie, status. I've been caught. Oh crap, the young man in front of me is Jiang Ming, the head disciple of Chuyang Peak, right? According to the information, he's only 28 years old this year, but how could he be so strong? Impossible. This is impossible. What? What did he just say? He knows that we're from another world? But how did he know about that? Anyway, I should use the Dao vessel to communicate with my team members and ask them to send the captain to save me. Hold on a second, how come the message doesn't get through? What? When did he get my million iridescent mirror? Ho Renjie was stunned. Jiang Ming smiled at him as he played with the mirror he got from him with his hand. As he studied the mirror, he nodded and thought, there is a spell formation inside it, and one can communicate with their team members after activating it. It's a pretty good artifact, but the only downside is that the messages can't be sent if two parties are too far apart. As the thought surfaced in his mind, he killed all 10 people before him. He did not care if they were good or bad people. As long as they came to the Zhuang sect, he regarded them as their enemies and would kill them all. Girl, I'll be right back, Jiang Ming said and disappeared into the air. At a lake in the middle of the wilderness, it was the resting spot for many of the waterfowl. Some of them came here to rest while the others were here to catch some fish to fill their bellies. There was a palace on top of the lake. It emitted a divine light that made it look extraordinarily majestic. There were several people around the lake. Some of them were standing in the air, while others were hiding in the clouds. There was also a group that was chatting and having a barbecue by the water. All of them engaged in their own activity, but there was one common trait amongst them. That was, they were keeping an eye on a place very far away from them. There were dozens of people sitting in the main hall, and the atmosphere was relatively lively. Guys, don't you think our mission is a little bit too simple? Simple. Yang Wei, it seems to me that you still cannot see through the appearance to perceive the essence. Come Luo Feng, tell me the essence that you see. We have been here for some time, so I'm sure all of us know most of the things that happened here. Let's start with the catastrophe that befell Eastern Region. The catastrophe in Eastern Region has affected all 9 provinces. Countless sects and families were destroyed, and even the Qingyun sect sustained a great loss. However, there's only one sect that didn't lose anything. That's the Zhuang sect, Luo Feng said. He was a young man in a blue shirt and there was a plumpy woman in his arms. He swirled the wine and took a sip before continuing. After the catastrophe, all the experts in the Yinmo sect, Long Yuan and the Submerged Dragon Immortal Union were killed in one night. As for how they were killed, although we don't have any solid proof, I think the people from the Zhuang sect killed them. Some time ago, one of the first seats of the Zhuang sect was found out to be a member of the Yinmo sect. They were attacked by many clans and families from Qing province, as well as the entire eastern region. Even the Fo sect from western region also joined forces with other people to crusade against them. However, all of them were killed, so I can assure you that it was the Zhuang sect's doing. The Jiang sect is a second-rate sect on the surface. In the past, they only had one level 7 or otherwise known as the Primal Spirit Great Monarch called Huodoren. Even the Qingyun sect thought the same way as well. Not long after, their sect master, Yan Yan, ascended into the Primal Spirit realm. It's not wrong to say that the Zhuang sect is nothing special. However, all of this changed when one disciple known as Ziling Long appeared. She awakened the Phoenix bloodline, and at a very young age she defeated many holy sons and daughters from Eastern Region and Zhong Province. Even the eldest disciple of the Tianyuan school, the most ancient force in this world, was no match for her. When Zilonglong awakened her phoenix bloodline, she was just a level 1 expert and hadn't gotten the ability to turn herself into the phoenix yet. Generally speaking, she wouldn't inherit any memories from her bloodline at all. Even if she did, it would be very few, so how did she get so strong? How did she manage to defeat those holy sons and daughters? It doesn't make any sense at all. The only possibility is that she has a terrifyingly strong person behind her to guide her and even further enhance the strength of her bloodline. At the same time, a powerful individual appeared in the Juyang sect that had the ability to cut down many parodies experts from the Faux sect. I guess he should be her guardian. Based on observations from afar, we still need more information if we want to know more about them. Most importantly, our teams have all the information about the disciples in the Juyang sect. We even have checked that Huo Doran several times, and guess what? We have only explored 70% of the Juyang sect. There are only 3 people on Chuyang Peak: Gu Hai, the first seat, and his 2 disciples, Zilinglong and Jiang Ming. There's nothing special about Gu Hai. Zilinglong has a lot of potential, so she's one of the suspects. As for Jiang Ming, according to the information we've gathered, Jiang Ming is only a level 3 expert. Although he has a lot of potential as well, he's very normal. Besides, the holy daughter of the Ryu sect is staying in the back mountain. I guess she wants to exchange skills with Zilinglong. As for Chang Yiming, well, let's not talk about him. As for that level 9 expert, he has gone to northern region to wipe out those devils. We should have known everything about the Juyang sect by now, but why is the exploration process only at 70%? Remember, our mission is to investigate the Juyang sect. As for the person behind Zilinglong, they aren't in the Juyang sect, so how are we supposed to finish the remaining 30%? There is only one possibility: Chuyang Peak. There must be a secret hidden there. In my opinion, we shouldn't act so carefully anymore. We should cast all our fear away and send our people to Chuyang Peak. Or we should all go together and demand them to tell us the secret. It would be best if we could eliminate Chuyang Peak. Even if Zilinglong has someone powerful to back her up, their world is currently being invaded by a devil army, so I don't think they will have the leisure to care about her. Besides, if we all work together, we can even easily destroy the Juyang sect. We don't have to worry about anything, so why should we waste our time? After we've finished our mission, we can go to northern region. I'm certain we'll be able to gain something from it with our strength, Luo Feng said. Yang Wei scoffed and replied, "You talked so much, but all of these are nothing but your speculations." Ha! Luo Feng laughed. Didn't I already tell you? All secrets of the Juyang sect come from Chuyang Peak. We can all go together and check it out ourselves. As for the powerful being behind Zilinglong, I doubt they would pose a threat to us. Have you forgotten that countless experts were killed that night after the catastrophe? What if it has something to do with Chuyang Peak? An old man chimed in with a frown. Besides, you haven't pointed out the most crucial thing. The most crucial thing? Luo Feng frowned. Are you talking about the mission Ming Hai? Exactly. It's just a scouting mission, yet it needs 10 teams. This obviously isn't normal. I can even say that this mission might be a suicide mission. There's a huge probability that all of us will be wiped out, and now you want us to take a more proactive approach? Ming Hao shook his head. It's always not wrong to be cautious. Suddenly, all of their expressions changed. Liang Yun from our team is dead. Xiao Lei too. All of them jerked up from their seats, and their faces were dark. All of them were killed? Yang Wei said, his voice thick with disbelief. How is this possible? Each and every single one of them excels in the art of camouflage. How is there any possibility they would be discovered and killed at the same time? The weakest of them was a level 8 expert. It couldn't even last for a minute. All 10 of them had kept in touch with each other as well. If any of them was discovered, they could contact each other, but all of them were killed simultaneously. Guys, do you know what this means? Luo Feng said, his face turning pale with each passing second. Oh no, guys, we have to leave. Ming Hai knew what Luo Feng was trying to say. Since they could kill them in such a short time, they could find us as well. Now I can assure you all that the destruction of the Yinmo sect, Long Yuan and the others are related to Chuyang Peak. We have to leave now, or else it will be too late. As soon as he arrived at the entrance, he froze. He looked at the person in front of him and his heart sank. It's too late. Bam! As soon as Jiang Ming appeared, he enveloped the area with his world projection and reduced all the beneficiaries on the outside into a blood mist. He stretched his arm into the air and absorbed streams of origin essence into his inner world. This is great nourishment. I wouldn't trade it even if someone gave me a medicine king. Jiang Ming smiled. He looked at the palace in front and his eyes lit up. After he killed them and absorbed their origin essence, even if it wouldn't make much of a change to his inner world, it was better than nothing. He summoned the human path records and let it hover over his head.
Seems like all of you are here. Jiang Ming smiled as he arrived at the door to the palace. Their surroundings had been sealed away, so there was no way they could run away now. You're Jiang Ming?
The corner of Ming Hai's lips twitched when he saw Yang Ming. So the person who hides most deeply in the Zhuyang sect is not Ziling Long but you. Apparently he had gotten Jing Ming's portrait, so he could recognize him instantly. Our mission progress has reached 80%. He just shows himself and the progress went up by 10%. Yang Wei's voice reverberated throughout the hall and his face was dark. You're not even 30 years old, right? You've actually cultivated to such a degree, and the most frightening thing is that you're so good at hiding that you could escape the eyes of the Qingyun sect. Ming Hai exclaimed. Jiang Ming, has Ziling Long been your scapegoat the whole time? Well, I wouldn't use the word scapegoat. I'm just letting her develop by herself, Jiang Ming replied. How can I become like you guys? What? Ming Hai's pupils constricted. Through invitation. Do you have someone powerful to back you up? Are you the one who destroyed the Yinmo sect, Long Yuan and the others? Through invitation? Jiang Ming frowned. He knew Ming Hai understood what he was asking, but the answer he got was not the answer he wanted. Ming Hai's status did not mention anything either. Yes, it's me. However, I don't have anyone to back me up. I'm all by myself, Jiang Ming replied. Then, he pointed upward and continued. There is no other way. Is it a puppet of fairness and justice? You killed all of them by yourself? Impossible. Ming Hai exclaimed as he shook his head. According to our investigation, some of them were level 10 experts while the others were level 8 and level 9. There's no way you could kill them all by yourself. I've answered your question, but you haven't answered mine yet, Jiang Ming said, looking coldly at him. Nope. There is no other way, Ming Hai replied. He still couldn't quite accept what he had just heard. It's the omnipotent God, or you can call it a program. He came to an abrupt stop before he could finish his sentence. System, beam me back, right now. Ming Hai felt that something around them prevented them from escaping, so he knew he could not wait any longer. After all, he did not think he could go up against Jiang Ming. Beneficiary Ming Hai, your surroundings have been sealed by a divine item, so you can't transfer you back here. What? Ming Hai's face turned pale. The rest of the people were stunned as well. He forced himself to calm down and asked softly, can we call a truce? You guys want to destroy my sect and now you want to call a truce? Are you kidding me? Jiang Ming scoffed. Please, Jiang Ming, please let us go. We didn't want to do this either. If you can let us go, we can give you anything you want. Spiritual crystals, immortal crystals, divine crystals, medicine, artifacts. Just name it and we'll give it to you, Ming Hai said. While he was trying to hold Jiang Ming back, he talked to the rest of the people through telepathy. Wen Feng, prepare to move the palace. Guys, get yourself ready for a fight. Ming Hai, you're old, Yang Wei said. He's alone, so why do you have to be so afraid of him? We're beneficiaries of the reincarnation hall. We have gone through countless battles across many worlds in the past. We've never lost hope, even in the direst situation. Ming Hai, don't you forget about this. This is just a planar world. The strongest they could reach is level 10, and all of us here are level 10. With our skills, our special abilities, and items, do you think we can't kill him? Haha, I'm going to kill him right now. As soon as he finished talking, a sword that exuded an immense killing intent appeared in his hand. While he swung his sword at Jiang Ming's head, another person opened his mouth and threw an attack directly at Jiang Ming's soul. Jiang Ming lifted one finger and stopped both of their attacks. The storm of power that burst out from the collision sent Ming Hai and the other flying away. Is he crazy? A thought appeared in Ming Hai and the others' heads at the same time. He's trying to use his own body to stop the attack of an immortal weapon? Even Yang Wei was stunned. However, what happened next sent a chill down their spines. After all, not only did Jiang Ming appear unscathed from the attack, but the attack did not even leave a single scratch on his finger. This, Yang Wei stammered. Am I dreaming? Not bad, Jiang Ming said as he threw the sword away. He looked at his finger, and there was nothing but a scar there. He chuckled. Back when he was on the 7th floor of the Supreme Pagoda, he had defeated a level 11 expert once. After absorbing the world heart Dongfang Chenxi had given to him, he started to grow non-stop. He had no idea how strong he had become right now. It seemed to him that the immortal weapon was nothing special, but he also understood that it was because Yang Wei did not bring out the full potential of the immortal weapon. Even if he can use the full strength of the immortal weapon, it can't cut through my bone. After my inner world transforms into a reality, not even a level 11 immortal weapon will be able to harm me, Jiang Ming thought. How can there be such a strong person like you in the human world? Ming Hai said, his voice filled with admiration and fear. Jiang Ming did not want to waste his time with them anymore. He threw a punch at them and reduced all of them into a bloody puddle. He stepped into the palace and killed the rest of the people in there. The origin essence each of the 10 imminent immortal experts provides can speed up the evolution of my inner world for 1,000 years. How about the extreme path and the parodies? Yang Ming couldn't wait any longer to test it out. After collecting all of the loot, he did not return to Quyang Peak. Instead, he went to Northern Region. There were about 20 Lord God Space's beneficiaries over there. My inner world will be able to turn into reality this time. On Chuyang Peak, it was simply tranquil and beautiful. At first sight, Brother Jiang, you're a quiet and peerlessly handsome man. Shi Yao sat in the pavilion, swaying her feet as her laces fluttered. She looked at the person below and in front of her and sighed inexplicably. After getting used to your look, I discovered that you're just like an old man without any motivation and ambition. You don't fight, nor do you cultivate, you only enjoy your sunbath every day. Isn't it good? Jiang Ming closed up the book in his hand, picked up the teacup beside him, and had a sip. While he was holding the teacup in his hand, he gazed into the mountain range afar and said, "No fighting, no killing, and witnessed time tickling like a painting." After killing the Reincarnation Hall's beneficiaries, he had also visited Northern Region to wipe out all the Lord God Space's beneficiaries. Following that, he returned and stayed quietly at Chuyang Peak, but his internal world was evolving quickly. Shi Yao thought Jiang Ming was indifferent to all things. In fact, he was insanely cultivating, though he was forced to. But isn't such a life too boring? Shi Yao stepped down and lay in the air. She did not fall because she was held up by a cloud that automatically appeared out of thin air as she lay. What's boring? What's fun? Whichever you like, it'd be good? Jiang Ming took another sip of tea before he continued. Northern Region will stabilize soon. Aren't you going to reap some benefits? Regardless of how great the benefits are, prefer to stay here. I can fall into the state of enlightenment easily, almost daily. There's no other place in the world where I can do so, after all. Shi Yao was gazing at sunset as she spoke. Didn't you say it's boring? I'm just having some emotions here when I see you staying like this every day. While the two were chatting, 5 Elemental Linglong was pacing over through the air. She was followed by Huo Hua and the other 3 fairies, each holding a tray with fruits and drinks in their hands. There, is that you? Shi Yao hesitated but still pointed to the north. Yang Ming slightly nodded. Can the world still accommodate you since you are this strong now? Shi Yao was astonished. She knew Yang Ming was the one who had wiped out the Yinmo sect in Eastern Region overnight, but when she learned that the one who had slaughtered the devils in Northern Region, she still felt it was unbelievable. Millions of invaders must be entering Northern Region, yet Jiang Ming could massacre so many of them. Jiang Ming was indeed inhuman. I'm still an extreme path expert. Jiang Ming looked odd. Logically, his power had long exceeded the world's limits, but his cultivation base was really low. This is unbelievable, Shi Yao said as she walked to the table and fed herself with a violet pear. Senior brother is the one who breaks our common sense. Linglong sat beside Jiang Ming, delivered a peeled grape to his mouth, and saw him take it in before she started peeling another one. I think I know why Brother Jiang is this lazy. Shi Yao pouted as she walked to the fence and looked at the floating clouds amid the mountains. She then said, "It's because you are spoiling him. Like it, and I'm willing," Linglong said with a smile. Shi Yao was rendered speechless. In the Heaven Reincarnation Hall's space, when an enormous screen showed the abrupt disappearance of 10 teams, it caused a commotion. It was rather outrageous when a B-grade investigating mission resulted in the total downfall of all 10 teams. Ding, issuance of an SSS-grade mission. Destroy the Juyang sect of Eastern Region, which is located in the Teen Yuan world, a perfect planar world. Limitation, minimum requirement of S-rated teams, up to 10 teams limited to 1 year. Reward, distribute according to the amount of contribution. The highest can get an Immortal Ascension pill, level 11 Immortal Weapon, Special Physique, etc., and the lowest can get a level 10 item. The notification rang out 3 times. Many reincarnation beneficiaries were astounded because such an SSS-grade mission hadn't been issued for many years already. Each time one was issued, it would be a big event. The fall of 12 teams in total was indeed a big event. Meanwhile, in the Lord God's space, ding, all 20 teams fell in a perfect planar world just now. No one managed to return. Hence, it's a provocation and defiance against our Lord God's space. Ding, issuing now an unlimited grade world annihilating mission. Destroy the Tianyuan world. Ding, because of the world's limitation itself, a maximum of 100 teams can join in. Register now and we will start arranging based on the team's ranking in 2 hours. A commotion was created in the Lord God space along with a series of notifications. Jiang Ming knew nothing about what was happening in the Heaven Reincarnation Hall in the Lord God space. He would not care even if he knew. He rose to his feet and stretched himself. Girl, what do you want to eat later? Senior brother, I want to have a hot pot. Okay, I'll prepare a few ingredients. Yang Ming thought for a while and vanished into thin air. He had returned with a few ingredients floating next to him in just a short time. Senior brother, what are these? They look fresh. Linglong was stunned. Shi Yao walked over and said, I know what's this. It's the golden tripe. but looking at its majestic life essence, it should be at least in the primal spirit realm. Brother Jiang, where did you get it? I went to southern region and killed a few demons, Jiang Ming replied as he started preparing. Shi Yao was stunned at the reply before she smiled slyly because of Jiang Ming's act, who saw the entire world as his hunting ground. Is golden tripe tasty? Ling Long was very excited instead. Of course it is, Shi Yao slurped before she continued. In my sect's previous celebration, we had the golden tripe. It was a cow demon of the purple mansion realm that was killed, and it was especially delicious. It's just that golden cows are scarce and also mostly living in southern region, hence too difficult to hunt. I can't imagine that I would be lucky enough to taste it again today, and it's one of the primal spirit realm. While they were talking, Jiang Ming took out a furnace and ignited it with true samadhi fire. He added some spices after the spiritual liquid was boiled and immortal lights began surging. Taking top-grade spiritual medicine as spices and spiritual medicine as dips, this is too luxurious, I'd say. Shi Yao was still amazed even though she had become rather used to these. At that moment, 2 light streams came from afar. This smells so good. Ming, what good stuff are you cooking, and why didn't you call me? You're being too unfilial. Gu Hai had just returned. Beside him was the first seat Yin Yue. She looked like she was about 30 years old. She had a glowing face and was no longer as cool as before. Master, mistress, it's just in time that the two of you got back. Come on, have a seat, have a seat. Girl, do serve them tea first. Yang Ming beckoned. Master, how can you reprove your own disciple like this when the mistress is around? First seat Yin Yue slightly blushed as she quickly diverted the topic. Holy daughter Shi Yao, are you comfortable staying here? You're a senior here, so just call me Shi Yao. As the cultivation location here is much better than any sacred land, it's a land of opportunity to me. Moreover, I can have peculiar spiritual items as my daily meals. Look at this golden tripe, it's sourced from a primal spirit cow demon. And these cinnamon and danlan flowers are top-grade spiritual medicine. These prawns, dragon meat, and fishes are either from primal spirit or paradise demons that I have never tried even in the sacred land. These Ling Long, really? First seat Yin Yue was bewildered. Mistress, of course they are real. Ling Long came over to hold first seat Yin Yue's arm and sat beside her. Senior brother is a good chef. You must try his dishes later. I've told you that Ming's dishes are scrumptious and unique, haven't I? Can you believe what I said now? Gu Hai was feeling proud. He was proud because he could raise 2 great disciples. His younger disciple was well known for defeating all Sacred Land's geniuses, while his elder disciple, although infamous, would slaughter great demons as food ingredients. Who else was on par with them? I previously thought you were boasting. First seat Yin Yue confessed as she was still staring at Jiang Ming with disbelief. When Jiang Ming finished preparing, they sat around the table, enjoying the hot pot while chatting. Each bite is equivalent to a fortune. I think it'll take more than a year just to digest this one meal. First seat Yin Yue got even more amazed as she took a bite. She was amazed because, at her first bite, she felt boundless life essence flow throughout her body, tempering her physique and enhancing her mana and even her spirit. Who'd say otherwise? Look at how this kid's enjoying his life. I'm afraid that no one can enjoy like he does except the Sacred Land's holy lords. Gu Hai exclaimed. No, it's incomparable. My Ryu sect's holy lord may not even be able to enjoy such a great meal in 100 years. Shi Yao shook her head in disagreement. Really? That's the holy lord of a sacred land after all. Gu Hai was surprised. Senior uncle, look at what's in here. The ingredients are either harvested from great demons or spiritual items. Who else is capable of being more luxurious than this? Even the Holy Lord would feel guilty for a long time after having some luxurious meal once every 100 years. Shi Yao smiled slyly. If this is the case, am I not comparable to a sacred land's Holy Lord? Yi Hai was excited. Jiang Ming laughed. No, you're greater than Holy Lords. You can enjoy it daily, but the Holy Lords can't. Yeah, you're right. Gu Hai stroked his beard, took a glance at first seat Yin Yue, and put down his chopsticks. He then shifted his focus to Jiang Ming and said, Ming, I'm the one who raised you up, right? Yes, you're the one who raised, educated, and nurtured me. Do tell directly any request of yours. Otherwise, you'll make me panic, said Jiang Ming. Gu Hai could not help but laugh. Then he said in a serious manner, if this meal is given to the sect, it will raise the sect's strength by half a level. Ming, can you offer the sect some help? First seat Yin Yue also put down her chopsticks and listened with hope. Master, I feel uncomfortable at your politeness. Just tell me whatever you need. Moreover, I'd help even without you requesting it. Previously, I didn't manage to do it because I was too busy cultivating and handling those matters. Since you are now talking about it and the mistress is also around, I shall make a promise now. I promise that I'll make our sect comparable to the sacred lands. What do you say, is it good? Jiang Ming said smilingly. Great. Tell me how you are planning to do it in detail. Gu Hai was ecstatic. I plan to raise Tao fluctuations up to 10-fold, spiritual essence up to 100-fold in the sect's estate, and give 10 types of medicinal pills, 100 types of techniques, 1,000 types of special abilities, and 10,000 pieces of Dao vessels to the sect. What do you think? Jiang Ming said. This Ming, it's too much, isn't it? I only want you to help the sect out, not to make you fall into bankruptcy. Gu Hai was stunned at Jiang Ming's promise. Shi Yao was bewildered too. She did not know that Dao fluctuations could be raised up to tenfold, and she was shocked by Jiang Ming's promise to give out 1,000 types of special abilities and 10,000 pieces of Dao vessels. But when she thought further about Jiang Ming's achievements so far, she felt Jiang Ming's promise was somehow acceptable. Meanwhile, First Seat Yin Yue was so stunned that she almost rose to her feet. It felt so surreal as she looked at Yang Ming, who she thought was still a kid. Ziling Long remained calm, still eating quietly. She knew all these things were nothing to her senior brother and thought that all of them might go nuts if they were to see the spiritual field her senior brother had developed. Jiang Ming laughed. I'm a disciple of the sect. Hence I shall repay some when I'm rich, right? Master, no worries, these are nothing to me. I actually thought of giving some immortal weapons, but the strongest first seat is only at the primal spirit realm. They're incapable of using them yet. You're showing off again, Gu Hei said. Then, he could not help but laugh. Having such a disciple, what else can I request? Ming, shall I call the sect master here? Nope. Jiang Ming threw a ring to Gu Hei and said, all things are in there. As for the spiritual essence and Dao fluctuations, I'll arrange them in 2 days. Great, great, Gu Hai laughed and his eyes turned red. The meal ended in a harmonious way. Ding, congratulations for preparing and having a harmonious meal, rewarding an upgraded St. Province Dao Square. The original St. Province Dao Square covered only the peak where the host lives. The Dao fluctuation in the peak is 100 times stronger than the external area. Hence it is easier to enter the state of enlightenment and comprehend the heaven and earth's laws. Besides, you as the host can easily suppress anyone within the Dao Square whose strength is not 100 times stronger than you yourself. After the upgrade, the Dao Square will expand itself to cover the entire sect's estate, and as the host you are capable of adjusting the strength of Dao fluctuations and the percentage of enlightenment. No rules of heaven and earth are enforced within the Dao Square. The rest remains unchanged. Jiang Ming's eyes lit as he got excited due to the reward. He was unconcerned with the expanded Dao Square, but the fact that there would be no rules of heaven and earth enforced in the Dao Square meant he would not be rejected by the world even if he went beyond the imminent immortal realm, provided he stayed within the Dao Square. In other words, he could remain at Shuyang Peak as long as possible. Does the system want to prepare me as a 10,000-year-old shut-in? Jiang Ming thought. He then felt rather upset after his excitement. The benefits of the upgraded St. Province Dao Square were not to his will. He thought it should have the ability to suppress people at least 1,000 times stronger than him. After Gu Hai helped himself with enough food, he left together with First Seat Yin Yue. While they were pacing across the air, here's a token of respect from that boy. Gu Hai handed the First Seat Yin Yue a storage ring and added, he requested that I give it to you on his behalf just in case you'd reject him. I should be the one who gives him something instead. First Seat Yin Yue smiled slyly. Gu Hai laughed. We're a family, don't mention it. Moreover, you did take care of him when he was still young. Although he looks unmindful, he's very filial. Yes, I agree. Previously, I was afraid that it'd be difficult for him to lead a peak with his average innate talent. Who knew he'd grow up to this level in just a blink of an eye? It seems so unreal, just like a dream. First Seat Yin Yue nodded. I'd think that he's a different soul if not because his character and filial piety remain the same and that he kneels before me unhesitantly, said Gu Hai. Anyway, this is a blessing to us and our sect. By the way, you may go back first. I shall go to the sect master. This time, I shall let that old fella thank me himself. Don't go too far. No worries, I won't. The two went separate ways. In the great hall of Taiyang Peak, Gu Hai had his hands behind his back and his chin lifted as he walked in. Yo, where does an old duck come from? You demon, you're obviously not a human. Quickly show your original self, yelled Sect Master Yan. Gu Hai stumbled, almost falling on his heels. Thus he pouted. You boostard. How dare you scold me? I thought of giving you a great fortune, but now no more. Gu Hai turned and walked out. Sect Master Yan's eyes lit and he trotted toward Gu Hai as he said, Junior brother Gu, senior brother Gu, brother, it's my eyes that are clumsy. He ordered his disciple, serve tea, serve good tea. But he suddenly changed his mind and quickly added, no, I'll do it myself. He pulled Gu Hai's arm and directed him to a seat before he started brewing tea. Not bad. Gu Hai crossed his legs as he sat. Then, he reached out to receive the teacup the sect master handed. As soon as he took a sip, he spat out and put the teacup on the table beside him as he was disgusted. How can a sect master drink such bad-tasting tea? The sect master sat on the chair next to Gu Hai and said earnestly, how can I be compared to you, brother Gu? Tell me, what's the great fortune that you were talking about? We grew up together, experiencing honors and shame together, so please stop acting mysterious. Just tell me what it is. Gu Hai did not answer but took out a teapot, poured the spiritual liquid into it, and closed his palms together to boil it. Then, he took out a piece of tea leaf which he put into an empty teacup before he filled it full with hot water. As the tea leaf was spinning along with the water flow, it glowed, emitting Tao fluctuations and vigor. What extraordinary tea! The sect master was good to see the difference in the tea leaf. He asked, "Is this for me? Taste it." "Sure." The sect master disregarded the hotness of the tea as he immediately took the teacup up and had a sip that made his eyes close. Only after a while did he open his eyes, revealing an expression of astonishment as he said, "With just a sip, I actually fell into the state of enlightenment in an instant. Besides, my mana is refreshed and my primal spirit is enhanced. Is this immortal tea?" He looked at the tea leaf in the cup, thrilled. "Almost similar. How's it when compared to yours?" Gu Hai smiled. "It's utterly incomparable," the sect master replied in an instant. "Brother Gu, is this the fortune you said you wanted to give me? You're indeed my brother who is willing to share good things." "This is nothing at all when compared to real fortune," Gu Hai frowned. "Brother Gu, you're boasting. The immortal tea is not considered a good fortune and it's nothing at all," asked the sect master in disbelief. "People with long hair usually have short insight, and that's referring to you. The concentration of spiritual essence in the sect will be increased by 100 times, said Gu Hai. "Brother Gu, are you sure? The person behind her now plans to support our sect?" The sect master hissed with surprise. "Oh Yan, do stay calm, there is more. 10 types of medicinal pills, each of them able to help one break through to the Paradise realm when they reach the pinnacle of the primal spirit realm. Damn. Brother Gu, are you messing with me? I've never heard about the medicinal pill that had helped one break through to the Paradise realm at all. 100 types of techniques, 1,000 types of special abilities. Brother Gu, are you serious? 10,000 Tao vessels. Deem. I doubt that my little heart can bear it further. Tao fluctuations in the sect will be increased tenfold. Oh my, I never knew that the Tao fluctuations can be increased tenfold. The sect master Yan was utterly dumbfounded. Do you want them? Gu Hai asked smilingly. Are they real? Sect master Yan's eyes turned red as his heartbeat grew faster, just like an old bull in its oestrus period. How would I dare to lie about this stuff? Gu Hai stared slightly angrily at the sect master. You're my elder brother, my own elder brother from now onward. The sect master took 2 steps back and bowed with his fist crossed before he added, Brother, we've been worrying so much about the sect. Do you know how stressful it was when we had to confront the persecution of Qing Province's union, the suppression of the Qingyun sect, and the pressure from the Fo sect? Look at me now. My hair is white even though I'm a primal spirit expert. I know that the girl Ling Long had a great encounter, hence lots of treasures. But because I'm afraid that I'd offend them, I refrain from requesting anything at all. The sect master wiped his eyes and said with his rationality still intact, Brother, I also know that you see the sect as your home and have been sacrificing a lot for the sect, but make sure you don't force your disciple. With her presence, the sect will be fine and will slowly develop. Therefore, we can't make too many requests that may disappoint and upset her. You old thing, you are indeed quite kind. Gu Hai huffed and threw the storage ring at the sect master. Rest assured that this is what the kid willingly gives to show filial piety, not by force. And it will take 2 to 3 days to fulfill the promise of increasing the concentration of spiritual essence and Tao fluctuations. That'd be great. The sect master checked the contents of the storage ring with his consciousness upon receiving it, and he was stunned. After taking a while to recollect himself, he said as he breathed heavily, Brother Gu, I'm feeling uneasy with this lavish gift. Maybe I shall kneel before you as a token of appreciation. Fuck off. Gu Hai fluttered his sleeve as he left. Before he went off, he added, There needs tranquility. Sure. Sect master Yan held the ring tightly in his hand and smiled but with tears dripping out. Square to cover the entire sect's estate, including the 9 main peaks and hundreds of other peaks. He then increased Tao fluctuations in the 9 main peaks up to 10-fold and the other peaks up to 3-fold when compared to non-estate areas. Standing amidst the sky, Jiang Ming looked at the spiritual field, where its spiritual essence's concentration was at its extreme. It was due to the infusion of the supreme-grade spiritual fountain in the center of the spiritual field into earth veins that connected the entire eastern region, extracting its power and gathering spiritual essence from heaven and earth. Jiang Ming executed a special ability to diverge spiritual essence into 8 branches that flowed to the bottom of the 8 main peaks, forming spiritual veins. He also sent the majestic spiritual essence out of the spiritual mountain located in the center of the spiritual field, infusing it in them. In less than 2 hours, spiritual essence had rapidly diffused out of all 8 peaks, forming wisps of vapor that condensed into fogs. Outside Taiyang Peak's Great Hall, Sect Master Yan was waiting silently. He could not help waiting since Gu Hai left even though the latter had told him that it would take about 2 to 3 days. Meanwhile, he felt very excited, so excited that he seemed to have returned to feverish days in his youth. 10 types of medicinal pills, all of them are extremely valuable that I only heard of them previously. The most valuable ones are the 100 techniques, which not only have given our disciples more choices, but each technique is also strong beyond imagination. And the 1000 special abilities, each stronger than any special ability available in the sect. All these have further enhanced the sect's foundation by 100 times. Thus, our Juyang sect has more than enough to rise up soon. Besides, its 10,000 pieces of Tao vessels, among which are some supreme grade with terrific might. Even now I feel that I'm still dreaming. It's so surreal, just like an illusion. If the concentration of Tao fluctuations and spiritual essence further increases, oh heaven, oh my earth, I'll have no regrets even if I die now. With the downfall of Eastern region, it's time for my Juyang to rise up and maybe become a sacred land in about 100 or 1,000 years. I think we will. We will definitely be one. By that time, I'll be the Holy Lord then. Ha 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 ha. He became more ecstatic as he thought. At that moment, he somehow sensed the changes in the surroundings and abruptly lifted his head, gazing into the night sky. Following that, he closed his eyes and opened them abruptly after a while. I almost fell into the enlightening state earlier, and the speed of comprehending the mysteries of heaven and earth has got faster. Is this the effect of strengthened Tao fluctuations? Surprise filled Sect Master Yan's face, and he was ecstatic as he muttered, with such additional support, our disciples will be able to improve themselves rapidly. After all, the easier it is to comprehend heaven and earth's laws, the easier it is to have a breakthrough. This ability is heaven-defying. I don't think any sacred land can do so. He was ecstatic. He then discovered wisps of spiritual vapor surging out of each peak, which gradually got denser. A large amount of spiritual essence is surging everywhere. Is this induced from the earth veins? Oh my, what a holistic strengthening of the sect. I think it's no longer an extravagant hope for our sect to become a sacred land in no time. Sect Master Yan shuddered in shock at that thought. Following that, he took a deep breath to recollect himself, straightened his clothes, and paid his respects in the direction of Quyang Peak sincerely from his heart. In the dark night, the submerged dragon continent in Shenzhou was a slightly bigger island but a size smaller than Eastern region. Nevertheless, it was considered big enough. On this continent there were many sects with many experts too. However, if these experts were to be compared to those in Shenzhou, they were a lot weaker. At the bottom of a mountain, 18 people appeared out of thin air. Their intimidating auras were incompatible with the world. As soon as the first one appeared, he pushed upward with his open palm. An invisible power gushed out, forming a defensive shield that enveloped them. It was removed only when they were assured that their surroundings were safe enough. A strong-looking young man closed his eyes as a mirror emerged from his head, diffusing into the void. He reopened his eyes only after a while. My aura is merging into this world. Through the probing of a Casa mirror, we're on a lonely continent in the ocean. There are many sects here, but basically they're in a messy state. Far in the west is an enormous continent. I think it should be the center of this world because it has 70% of the world's luck and numerous terrific fortunes. Our mission is to destroy the world, but it's difficult with our current power, the young man said. We have 100 teams here, but I don't care about the others. Our aim is to loot benefits and get as many points as possible. To get points, we can only hunt and slaughter, and this continent we're on is just a good start. Chen, you do the planning, the man said in a simple manner. Chen nodded. Destroying the world is to slaughter. Whether it's looting benefits or gaining points, we still have to slaughter. But what we need to do now is to scout out the exact condition here, identify the number of experts, and find out if we can overbearingly overwhelm them. It'd be quite difficult to overwhelm them overbearingly, I think. I just sense that there are at least 5 level 10 experts. They have location advantages and may unite to suppress us if we overwhelm them overbearingly. Also, don't forget that our real strength is suppressed. Boss, what about we devastate a force to induce doubts and even internal power struggle among them? After all, 100 teams are descending to this world, and we have no idea how many of them will be sent to this continent. If there are many of them, the benefits we can gain will be greatly reduced, Shay suggested. Great, let's do it as soon as possible. Let's start scouting out the conditions and scheming against the others. The young man made a decision. Not long after that, they found a sect called Shenshui sect. It was a sacred land with an imminent immortal supreme elder. As soon as they got there, they did not trespass the sect. Instead, they took out 108 nuclear bombs and buried them around the sect. Elder brother, isn't it a waste to take out all of them? No, it's not. We can completely destroy this sect and wipe out a few cities and its surroundings to earn some points with just a blast. Moreover, we can see if we can kill the imminent immortal expert too. Alright, after setting up the bombs, they immediately retreated. Another tram appeared in EC, 14 of them. They were at least parity experts, very powerful. Destroy a world means wiping out all living things. Most worlds have ocean areas larger than land, hence a greater number of living things. Since we've descended here, shall we start from here? Are we going to sweep across them overwhelmingly or kill only strong experts? Since a perfect planner world allows 100 teams to descend simultaneously, many great forces and numerous level 10 experts must be here. We might be besieged if we sweep across them, so it's too dangerous for us. Taking our personal safety as a prerequisite, we shall take meticulous steps and attack without anyone knowing. How are we going to earn lots of points then? Virus. Elder brother, won't it be too cruel if we do that? Since it's a world-annihilating mission, the fate of this world is decided. If we don't do it, the other teams will do it anyway. Disperse, spill the virus, and come back. We'll head to the land together. Got it. After an hour, they gathered again, heading toward the land. At that moment, a blazing ray of light abruptly surged from the eastern part of EC into the sky, brightening the night sky. After a while, a rumbling sound was heard. It stirred up a 1,000-meter-high wave and shook the void, creating a scene like the end of the world. Dern, who's so cruel to detonate nuclear bombs? They denoted at least 100 of them. Such a thing can only kill mortals and destroy the sect's formations. It's almost impossible to kill level 9 and level 10 experts. Moreover, it's not only expensive and ineffective, but purely a waste as well. It also easily attracts attention. Stupid. At the edge of Western region, a team appeared. One of them brandished a scepter and opened up a pitch-black passage. Many black coffins flew out of it and released a zombie each, forming a great army dispersing to all directions. Meanwhile, a great number of Zerg fighters appeared in southern region. The world that night was in total chaos. In eastern region, a flag appeared above Black Wind City, enveloping it. The scarlet light burst out, and in just a few moments the large city of nearly 1 million people was dead silent. 8 people were standing on a peak about 1,000 miles away. They were gazing in the direction of Black Wind City, their faces betraying their shock. Who's this? Why are they slaughtering a mortal city? Are they not afraid of creating public anger? Fortunately, our mission is merely to devastate the Zhuang sect. Crazy, whoever did it must have gone nuts. No way. Look at the devastative light at the sea in the east. It looks like the nuclear bomb from the technological world, isn't it? There is also a large amount of dead aura over the ocean. What is going on? Dern, would it be that gang which doesn't have any bottom line? If it is, this world is terribly unlucky. Let's just ignore them and focus on devastating the Zhuang sect. Since we have 10 teams in this mission, the Zhuang sect must be very dangerous, comparable to a forbidden area. We shall not take any risk but shall first infiltrate the sect from its periphery. This team was very meticulous. On Chuyang Peak, after Jiang Ming was done setting up what he had to, he was planning to start evolving his internal world. But he abruptly sensed something and squinted his eyes as he gazed into the east. 5 Elemental Lin Long came closer to Jiang Ming and asked, "Senior brother, what's going on? Why is the atmosphere filled with so much death aura? It's like the end of the world." "I've got a strong feeling of restlessness," Shi Yao said. "It's a disaster affecting the whole world." "Girl, notify the sect master so that he can call back all disciples. Must act quickly." "Shi Yao, notify your master that foreign sky devils have descended on our world. Meanwhile, both of you stay here in the mountains. Don't go anywhere else," Jiang Ming said as he frowned. "I'll go to northern region and will come back in a short while," Jiang Ming said as he tore the space to enter it. Change was an eternal subject, and no one knew what would happen in the next moment. Just like Jiang Ming, who thought it would be safe enough by destroying the portal, yet things didn't go his way. Death aura again filled the atmosphere. Jiang Ming fused his consciousness to heaven and earth and sensed the trembling world's core. He knew it meant the world was in danger of annihilation. Upon activating his Dharma eyes to observe Eastern region, he discovered many different auras. Others might not understand what these different auras meant, but he clearly knew what was going on. It obviously was the beneficiaries from either Reincarnation Hall or Lord God's space. A terrifying storm of destruction was set off in the eastern part of EC, and a dense death aura spurted out of the ocean. Bloodshed was also occurring in southern region, western region, and even in Zhang province. The atmosphere was filled with a bloody aura, death aura, evil spirits, and an endless baleful aura which must be the result of a large number of deaths. This is troublesome. Jiang Ming had a headache. The current him was unable to shatter both the Reincarnation Hall and Lord God's space. He did not want to be passive all the time, yet he had no better method than taking action based on his current ability. Jiang Ming tore space and reached northern region in just a short while. He discovered that the entire northern region was suppressed by the para-immortal, which sealed its space, turning it into a prison that only allowed entry. The war had already started. Many sacred lands sent out about 30 terrific imminent immortal experts, though there were more extreme path experts. Nevertheless, many foreign devils were still alive, hence it would take a long time to slaughter them all. The world is too big, yet I'm alone. Hence I can't spend too much time here. This was Jiang Ming's plan. At that moment he was wearing the heavenly feathered shirt, a real immortal weapons fighting suit, strong in defending. He wore it just in case any unexpected matter arose. With the blazing immortal suit enveloping him, no one could clearly see his face. The celestial soul bell was hanging above him too. It could distort the laws with just a slight shiver. As soon as he appeared, he did so in an imposing manner. He was seen being surrounded by immortal rays, and his majestic might encompassed millions of miles of land. With a rumbling voice, he told the people, "Gentlemen, more foreigners descended to all parts of the world with an unknown method, slaughtering everyone they find. Let me handle the devils here in northern region while you all return to where you're from immediately to identify these foreigners and have them killed. Because these foreigners descended on our world, they are still being rejected by heaven and earth, although they have integrated into our world using a special method. Therefore, you can identify them if you observe carefully. Be careful because most of them are at least primal spirit experts, and some are even imminent immortal experts." He reached out to grab his combat mannequin as he finished his words. Then, he tore open space to throw it back to Chuyang Peak so that it could guard the Juyang sect temporarily. The next moment, a mystical light sword appeared in his hand. It was an immortal weapon that he had snatched from Tianxi. He wielded the sword to release hundreds of strands of sword chi that infused into the void as he slashed open the void. Jiang Ming slew many devils at Extreme Path Realm and above in an instant. Jiang Ming didn't stop brandishing his sword, producing endless sword lights that cut through devils as though he was cutting grass. Liu Changkong and the others who were massacring stopped. Though they did not see Jiang Ming's face clearly, they knew that the man was someone incredibly strong as they saw the celestial soul bell atop his head. When they heard Jiang Ming's words, they tried sensing the world on their own, and all their facial expressions changed instantaneously. They felt the extraordinary dense death aura in the atmosphere. They had not sensed it while massacring as they were in a bloody war themselves. But now, when they stopped to sense it on purpose, they somehow could feel a bit. It's a world-annihilating catastrophe. Liu Changkong shuddered. His jaw went slack when he saw the boundless sword lights of Jiang Ming, which had slain almost all devils. Liu Changkong thought, fuck. The Union of all Sacred Lands experts had a slaughtering speed slower than the man alone. No, it was far slower. I wonder how insane the man is. Is he an immortal? Suddenly, Liu Changkong discovered that he could recognize the mystical light sword in that man's hand. It was the immortal weapon that had surged out of Tianxi's mind when he was hunted down. He doubted why the sword was with that man. Could he be the one who... He dared not think further. Fortunately, that man is a human. It's enough that he's willing to protect the world. As for the past, no, there's no past, only the future. As Liu Changkong thought, he presented a hold fist salute as he bowed to Jiang Ming. Thanks. Following that, he rose up and shouted, "Gentlemen, let's return to our respective sects and wipe out all foreigners together. Remember, do maintain a connection with each other and don't hold back, but do whatever you can because this is a disaster that affects the entire world's safety. When you go back, wake all the imminent immortal experts up in your sects. Whoever retreats, I'll go and have them killed." Liu Changkong's voice was resounding, and his killing intent was terrifying. With a flutter of his sleeves, he turned and left. Meanwhile, the rest looked at each other, confused. However, as they saw Jiang Ming was on a killing spree and had almost wiped out all the devils, they too left immediately while in shock. Why are there so many issues recently? Qing Fengzi felt like scratching his head. It had started with the Great Eastern War, then the changes in Western region. Relatively speaking, the issue about the Juyang sect was nothing at all. Following that, before the invasion issue in Northern region had been settled, the world was facing the danger of annihilation. Fuck, this is trying to play us to death. Qing Fengzi cursed as he teleported along with his sect's imminent immortal great monarch. In just a blink of an eye, all experts who came to Northern region vanished into thin air. Only those experts of Extreme Path and below returned either by taking a warboat or riding a divine mountain. Of course, there were quite many who had died in Northern region. Clang! Jiang Ming killed the last devil standing, and the sword light eventually dissipated into thin air. The devil's corpses in Northern region piled up like mountains. Jiang Ming heaved a sigh of relief, took out a spiritual bead and fiercely sucked a vast river of mana from it, which he refined to replenish his consumption. In just a while, he had fully replenished the mana he consumed. He collected the loot with a flutter of his sleeves before merging his consciousness into the void, scanning through thousands and millions of miles to look for any escaped devils. In fact, he found some which he killed with a flip of a finger. Following that, he turned and gazed at Southern region. His eyes flickered with intense killing intent as he searched around. Found them! Yang Ming gasped as he flew toward there. He got to a place in just a while. There were about 10 experts with strong auras in the mountain before him. Die! Yang Ming launched his attack on them immediately. With the appearance of world projection that suppressed the void, he slapped all of them to death. 2 of them were protected by immortal weapons, but none survived. While collecting the loot, Yang Ming checked out human path records. Name Changjiao race, demon gender, male cultivation base level 10, imminent immortal. Background scarlet planar world's horned horse great monarch. Remark, a beneficiary of the Lord God Space and one of the Skyhorse clan's members. Relationship, minus 78 innate talent, immortal status, one of the Lord God Space's beneficiaries who accepted an unlimited mission to exterminate the TNUN planar world. Such a world-annihilating mission was issued because the 20 teams sent to this world to fight against each other were all wiped out. There were a total of 100 teams that accepted this mission, for it was the maximum number this planar world could accept simultaneously. As soon as he descended into this world, he found out that there was a war outbreak. Therefore, he decided to observe first so that he could reap the utmost profits from the war. Fuck! The Lord God Space actually sent 100 teams here. They already turned my world into a battleground, so I killed their teams, yet they now retaliated by issuing a mission to exterminate my world. Lord God Space, you're good, very good indeed, extremely good, I'll remember you. Jiang Ming tried suppressing his rage as he again merged his consciousness with the void and activated his Dharma eyes to look for other teams. He managed to find 8 teams, killed them and collected origin essence before he tore space, returning to his sect. He did not land on Shuyang Peak but stood atop the Juyang sect. Meanwhile, his eyes flickered as he maximized the use of Dharma eyes, scanning the world up to 1,000,000 miles. He saw a man with an extreme path cultivation base. He called up the human path records to check on that man. Name, Pan Lin race, human gender, male cultivation base. Level 9 extreme path. Background, Heavenly King Planar Worlds Pan Clan's Great Monarch. Remark, Heaven Reincarnation Hall's beneficiary, one of the Linhai clan's members. Relationship, minus 95 innate talent, immortal, gold overlord body, status. A Heaven Reincarnation Hall beneficiary who accepted the SSS grade mission together with his members to destroy the Juyang sect. Because the mission's time frame was 1 year and a total of 10 S-rank teams were sent, he thought the Juyang sect must be quite strong. Therefore, his team decided to go slow, meticulously collecting enough data about the sect to plan their next move. Jiang Ming could not help but take a deep breath. Even the Reincarnation Hall's beneficiaries are here. Even though it's slightly better than the Lord God Space, it sent 10 teams simultaneously just to destroy my sect. In other words, it's to destroy my home and my family. Very well. Jiang Ming gnashed his teeth as killing intense soared in his eyes. A tyrannical desire surged from within his heart, insuppressible regardless. Nevertheless, he did not take immediate action. He continued observing instead. After a while, his yearning to kill surged further in his eyes as he checked on another Lord God Space beneficiary. Name, Daladol race, demon gender, male cultivation base, level 9, extreme path. Background, Thousand Moon Planar World. Remark, Lord God Space's beneficiary, one of the Warhammer clan's members. Relationship, minus 78 innate talent, 10 stars status, one of the Lord God Space's beneficiaries who accepted an unlimited mission to exterminate the Tianyuan planar world. As he and his team descended on the sea, they were of no advantage in competing with the other 99 teams. Therefore, they decided to take action secretly, plotting to massacre living things and plunder wealth and points. Therefore, they spread the vampire virus, zombie virus, and mutated seeds, among others, in the ocean to induce a carnage among millions and millions of living things in the ocean. As he reached the land, he saw the mushroom cloud in the eastern areas of the ocean. He knew it was the nuclear bombs the other team had detonated. From the degree of the explosion, he deduced that there were more than 100 bombs had been detonated, and many must have been killed. He was standing on the cliff by the sea, quietly watching the bloodshed, mountains of corpses, and the ocean that would be completely turned into a dead sea. He thought the extermination of the world meant millions and millions of living things would be slaughtered, and that was exciting. Could a planar world defend themselves from 100 teams? No. The answer is a resounding no. He felt unlucky because he didn't have the technique to improve cultivation by snatching others' blood essence. Otherwise, this would have been a great encounter for him. Jiang Ming shuddered as he read the status. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath. When he opened them again, his eyes had turned alarmingly cold. Jiang Ming was so furious as he learned that the foreigners were using viruses and nuclear bombs to exterminate his world. Don't leave since you all have come, Jiang Ming thought. He obviated 3 Reincarnation Hall's beneficiaries who had just gotten into the sect with just a thought. Following that, he vanished into thin air again as his figure fluttered. He went on a killing spree in Qing Province, Yu Province, Shui Province, Lei Province, Wu Province, Mu Province, and Hai Province, except for the Feng Province and Yun Province, which were under the Qingyun sect's command. At sunset, Jiang Ming arrived at the seaside of the East Sea, looking out over the raging waves of the sea, and the dense death aura suffused the sky. The sea surface was covered with corpses that flowed along with the waves. Meanwhile, numerous sea demons appeared from the bottom of the sea, executing special abilities to clean the seawater as tussles set off monstrous waves. Yang Ming turned and returned to Shuyang Peak. He lay on the rattan chair on the rooftop's balcony when he felt extremely tired. He had been continuously attacking and killing experts throughout the northern region and eastern region. It looked easy to others, but such an act greatly consumed his mana and strength. 5 elemental Linglong came over, softly massaging his temples with her fingers radiating white lights. In the room of an inn located in a city within the Qing province, a man was seen shivering as he sat cross-legged. Dead. All dead. In just a short while. All dead. He looked ghastly pale. It was only not long ago that all his teammates were killed. They had scattered around 100,000 miles just in case. Yet, they were all killed almost simultaneously as the killer snapped his fingers. Is it that I survived because I've shielded my aura? The young man muttered as he shuddered. He did not understand how they could be found in a short while based on their abilities and experiences in concealing themselves in numerous other worlds. Even if they were found based on their strengths, how they, particularly his team leader, could be killed with a snap of a finger. His team leader was, after all, a peerless man who could resist a level 11 expert. How terrifying is the expert in the Zhuang sect, the young man thought as he opened up the system's list, where the total number of all members that had descended was listed. There were 82 members at the start. How's it possible? The young man looked amazingly shocked because the total number of members left had changed to 3. Fuck. Almost everyone was killed even before we managed to enter the Zhuang sect. Is this how horrible the SSS grade mission is? But something is not right. How could a planar world with the highest cultivation base at the pinnacle of level 10 have someone who can slaughter almost everyone in a night without creating much attention? This is not even achievable by a level 11 expert. Can it be that the Zhuang sect has a mighty figure comparable to level 12? Even if such an expert existed, how could they find all of them in just a short while? This is completely impossible even if that person cultivated the karma law. A level 10 expert transcends the laws, and their Tao can suppress 10,000 Taos. Hence they can shield themselves from karma and even cut off the karma strand connected to a level 10 expert at their pinnacle. What can I do? The young man struggled. He did not want to risk his life to complete the mission, so he thought he might just wait till the end of the scheduled mission as he was unable to call a return forcibly. Sigh. All 10 teams failed just like that. I wonder if the reincarnation hall would be concerned. Concern? Ha! The young man smiled slyly. Meanwhile, the other survivors scattered around the eastern region were all terrified. On Shuyang Peak, this is comfortable. Girl, I didn't know that you have such a skill. When did you learn it? Jiang Ming smiled. A long time ago. I've always wanted to try, but you've been so energetic like a monkey. Hence, I had no chance at all. Is it really good? Linglong smiled. Yes, it is. Very soft and gentle. The method of stimulating my temples with special ability can quickly restore the tired spirit indeed. I was really quite tired, but not anymore. Jiang Ming said. Senior brother, I haven't seen you being this tired before. What's going on? I went on a killing spree. The eastern sky was getting brighter, approaching dawn. The morning sunshine's rays intertwined, weaving a nest for the sun to leap out at the best timing. Jiang Ming could not help but frown as he thought of the bloodshed yesterday night. He had also discovered that a level 10 expert could cut off their own karma. Yang Ming would not be able to find the level 10 expert if the expert were to do so in addition to self-concealing, even with consciousness. If he did not use the world projection, many would have escaped. Nevertheless, there were still 3 reincarnation halls beneficiaries who had managed to escape. From the information given by their team members, the 3 were highly capable of self-concealing. Brother Jiang, what has happened to our world? Why are we continuously being attacked by foreign devils? Can we resist them if they continuously descend into our world? Xiao came over and asked with her brows knitted together. Jiang Ming turned to Xiao and said in an assuring manner, yes, we can. Don't worry. These invaders are incredibly strong, have various means, are highly capable of self-concealing, and will do whatever they can to achieve their goals. From what I know, they wanted to exterminate our world. Hence, they are killing everyone indiscriminately. What are the benefits they could reap for doing so? Who knows? The wind whistled on the rooftop as the sun leaped up. Jiang Ming rose to his feet and stretched himself energetically. Then, he went to the open kitchen at the side to start preparing breakfast. He took out spiritual herbs one after another as he started mixing and matching. He eventually used dragon heart as the main ingredient to cook a medicinal dish that restored the state of mind, and the 3 ate quietly. Ding! Congratulations for having eaten a depressingly good breakfast and turned on the world monitoring mirror function of Dao Square. Jiang Ming was surprised that an item was rewarded for this breakfast. The world monitoring mirror was a special functionality of the St. Province Dao Square. Once turned on, a world monitoring mirror would be formed in the Dao Square, which allowed Jiang Ming to monitor the world, identify and target a foreign life form. Jiang Ming was ecstatic upon looking at the manual because this was what he needed. He was not concerned about these invaders and could even omit their presence, provided they were not killing ordinary people recklessly. Nevertheless, he currently could neither be unconcerned nor omit their presence because a team had detonated nuclear bombs while another dispersed viruses. These creatures should be killed, but it was too difficult to locate them. It was particularly difficult when they had a higher cultivation base and more different methods. Just like this time, he had yet to find the 3 beneficiaries who aimed to annihilate the Zhuyang sect even though he had tried his best. Girl, please help me do the dishes. I need to ponder quietly for a while. Jiang Ming requested and returned to his room. I'll do it. As Ji Yao lifted her fingers and the dishes flew upward, she then started washing them. At the same time, she said to Linglong, Brother Jiang is like a cloud of mysterious fog, getting difficult to understand. Linglong replied with her speculation. Perhaps senior brother is the son of the world, or he's the reincarnation of an immortal emperor. That's indeed possible. Otherwise, how could he be so strong when he's merely 28 and always stays home? The son of the world is the luckiest one. He'd have fortune even if he's just sitting all the time. As for the reincarnation of an immortal emperor, that'd be even more terrifying. In fact, I doubt that both of you are. After all, you two are talented beyond logic. I shall make sure that I curry favor with both of you. Shi Yao nodded in a serious manner. Ha, I think you want to curry favor with my senior brother, don't you? Nasty. The two were chatting and joking in a low voice. In the room, with a thought, a mirror appeared before Jiang Ming, its size adjustable as he wished. As he focused on the mirror, white-colored points appeared on the mirror. As he pointed with his finger at one of the points, the mirror zoomed into the point, gradually showing an inn, a room, and the man sitting cross-legged in the room. The human path records was flipped open once again and the opponent's information appeared before his eyes. Awesome, Jiang Ming exclaimed, his eyes lighting with joy. However, he did not do anything. He activated the Supreme Order and came to the 7th floor of the Supreme Pagoda once again. Name Xiangming Cultivation Base. Level 9 points accumulated. 6,759 honor for the 7th floor. 18 floors Heavenly Ladder. 9 stages Heavenly Stage. 533 points of special abilities. Jiang Ming stepped on the Heavenly Stage and began climbing. Soon he arrived at the 7th stage. This time his opponent was Jun Sangqian. He was now at the initial stage of level 11. Nice to see you again, senior. Jiang Ming greeted Jun Sangqian. Well, it seems like you have more questions for me, Jun Sangqian laughed. Fire it away. My world is now under the invasion of 2 organizations. They can come to my world freely, and it seems like they need to accomplish some kind of mission. One time they were tasked to destroy my world, while another time they were tasked to investigate a sect. Jiang Ming said, Senior, do you know who they are? Destroy your world and investigate a sect? This is interesting. Jun Sangqian said, Anyway, I don't think it matters to you even if I know who they are. You just want to ask if you can kill them all, and if you do so, will it bring you any trouble, right? Yes, senior, Jiang Ming affirmed. If you can kill them, just do so, Jun Sandian laughed. If they come to your world through a normal process, you can just kill them. Normal process? Could it be that there are abnormal ones? Bingo. Those you mentioned earlier appeared in your world through a normal process. As for those abnormal ones, they're even simpler to understand. Those who can destroy your world without descending on your world personally are considered abnormal. The beings in your world can't stop them. Senior, could there be a situation where someone in my world facilitates the descent of a powerful person who exceeds the world's tolerance limit? Yes, but it'll also come with many restrictions, and it falls in the category of normal. Also, you don't have to worry too much. As long as you have the Supreme Order, nothing serious will happen. Thank you for your explanation, Senior, Jiang Ming said. What will happen if I kill all of them in those 2 conditions I mentioned just now? They will keep coming to your world, but if the number of people you kill has reached the maximum, they will stop coming to your world. However, there are also some special cases where they will bring an interdimensional gate with them to lead a large number of powerful people from another world into your world. Or, they might set up coordinates in your world to facilitate the invasion of another world. What? Jiang Ming was stunned. Facilitate the invasion of another world? Exactly. They will bring in a world of a lower level or the same level to fuse with your world. Fuse? Are you talking about a collision? Wouldn't that be bad? Either fuse or collide against each other. This is a very rare occurrence since the cost of propelling a world forward or targeting a specific world is so great that even Dongfang Chenxi's father would rather not do it. You know her father? Well, that's my secret. After talking for a long while, Jiang Ming resumed clearing the stages. He went up to the 9th stage, but he was defeated on the 10th stage when he was going up against a level 12 expert. This time, his opponent was still Jun Sangqian. Come at me, I hope you can create a miracle this time, Jun Sangqian said. A miracle? Jiang Ming asked. Didn't you tell me that I'm not the most talented despite having a lot of potential? How am I supposed to create a miracle? Create a miracle that belongs to the mortal realm, Jun Sangqian explained. Amongst the mortal realm, although there are beings that are capable of slaying immortals, it's only because they own superb weapons. However, here, we're fighting on equal ground, and on this stage, I'm a level 12 expert. Understood. I'll try my best to create a miracle. Jiang Ming grabbed his sword and made his first move. He activated the world projection in order to suppress his opponent. Then, he cast the astral formation in two forms from the Great Millennium Technique, the solitary desert and the descending sun. He was exceedingly powerful, but unfortunately Jun Sanqian was more powerful than him. An immortal light burst out from him as he met Jiang Ming's attack head-on. Compared to the last time, Jiang Ming had become a lot stronger. Although his moves were the same, their power had increased by leaps and bounds. That being said, it was still a tough fight for him. Return of Infinite Law Finger, Yang Ming shouted, and with this move he finally defeated Jun Sanqian. In the next second his battered body recovered. On the 11th stage, you've succeeded. You're only a level 9 expert, yet you've defeated a level 12 expert. You truly are remarkable, Jun Sanqian commented. However, this is where you stop. You flattered me, Senior, Jiang Ming said. Senior, considering my condition, would I be able to conquer the 12th stage if I ascend to level 10? I don't see why you can't. Even the 13th stage might not be a match for you, Jun Sanqian replied. It depends on how far you can go. You have the strongest foundation, and you can break the rules. This time Jiang Ming did not attack Jun Sanqian anymore but left. After all, it was meaningless for him to fight. He came to the platform and looked at the heavenly ladder before peeling his gaze away. He did not leave. Instead, he came to the Million Dao chart and sat down. However, he was not going to comprehend some special abilities. He was just going to take a rest. He had eliminated quite a number of beneficiaries, so he had to absorb and digest the origin essence inside of him. He decided to take this chance and transform his inner world into a real world. He closed his eyes and focused on his inner world. As time went on, his mastery and understanding of the laws and Dao had become better and better. On this day, an illusion manifested above Jiang Ming's head. It was the projection of his inner world. There were mountains, rivers, gullies, and forests, to name a few. Suddenly, the illusion contorted and began shrinking. The same thing was happening in the inner world as well. The world was shrinking, the mountains were collapsing, and the rivers were disappearing. Everything had been destroyed at this moment before turning into a mass of chaos chi. Jiang Ming's eyes remained closed, and he continued to focus on his inner world. He knew that this was the most essential step in bringing his inner world to reality. The chaos chi exploded and formed into a big empty space in the next moment. The feeling of illusion was gone. The soil, the sand, the rocks, all of them were real. The sun, moon, and stars formed in the sky. The sun was rising from the east while the moon was falling in the west. A strange power was also taking form as the laws came into play and all things evolved. This power was far better in quality than mana. It was mysterious, and in the end it was scattered on all sides of the world and integrated into all things. As the world began to spin, the power was increasing at the same time. A stream of esoteric aura flowed out, partly injected into the mind and will, causing the soul to be transformed and the primal spirit to be elevated. Part of it also flowed into his flesh, allowing his bones, muscles, blood vessels, internal organs, skin, and so on to all begin to restructure and transform. It was a vigorous and rapid process. An excruciating pain assaulted his mind as well, but for today's Jiang Ming, even 1,000 cuts would not make him frown. The transformation finally ended. Before he could do anything, a voice echoed into his ears. Congratulations, Jiang Ming, on ascending to level 10. Now you have two choices. Enter the 8th floor of the Supreme Pagoda and take the test, or return to the real world. Please choose as soon as possible. Jiang Ming was delighted, but then he sighed. He did not expect that he would immediately step into the imminent immortal realm after his inner world turned into a real world. Despite still having some doubts, he did not hesitate too much and chose to enter the next floor to accept the test. The test was nothing but a walk in the park for him. After passing the 3 tests, he arrived at the 8th floor of the Supreme Pagoda. He stood on the platform and looked around. The surroundings were quiet, and there was nobody else here except for him. After all, there were very few geniuses, and they did not have much choice. Besides, it took a lot of luck for one to get the Supreme Order. It would be difficult to get their hands on one unless one was very lucky. That being said, getting the Supreme Order was not the end of it. Even if one had gotten the order, it would be useless if they could not pass the test. Once a candidate failed to pass the test, the Supreme Order would disappear, and it would take many years until it was found again. In other words, the Supreme Pagoda was very calm. It needs 2 steps for one to reach the imminent immortal realm. So how did I do it? Is it because of the transformation of my inner world? With that thought in mind, Jiang Ming began to study what changes had happened to his body. One had to reach 2 requirements in order to ascend from the extreme path realm to the imminent immortal realm. The first was to fully master a law, and the second was to comprehend the method of transcendence to free oneself from the shackles of the world. When that happened, one's mana would become the immortal force. The immortal force in the human world was also known as the pseudo-immortal force or quasi-immortal force. This was a difficult process. However, it was much easier for some people, such as Ming Fei and Dongfang Chenxi. Jiang Ming had also learned that different worlds had different laws through his friends in the chat room. Besides, the conditions and degree of difficulty when breaking through differ by world level as well. Jiang Ming closed his eyes and began to feel the changes in his body. After a short while, he finally found the reason for his breakthrough. Since his inner world had transformed into a real world, the yin-yang law and the light and dark law, two of the most basic laws of the 5 elements, had been perfected. For others, the paradies is illusory and is formed by the manifestation of mana. When one reaches the imminent immortal realm, mana will transform into the pseudo-immortal force. But in my case, my paradies has transformed into a real world. As for my mana, I probably should call it the worldly force right now. It's even stronger than the pseudo-immortal force. Could it be that the worldly force is equivalent to the pseudo-immortal force? Jiang Ming fell into thought. I guess that should be it. He summoned a clone and appeared in the inner world. He stood mid-air and looked at the surroundings. Jiang Ming had never felt so happy before. He stretched his arm forward and grabbed a cloud in front of him. It felt so real, and the illusory sensation was gone. Although the inner world has become smaller, its origin has improved a lot. He then looked skyward at the sun that hung in the sky. The earth veins were still evolving, and he was certain that they would finish their evolution sooner or later. He looked into the distance, and there was nothing but barren ground, lakes, and rivers in his vision. Everything in this world was under his control. He was the owner and the creator of this place. Can I speed up evolution? The idea popped in Jiang Ming's head, and he activated the time law. The inner world had become a lot smaller, so he could accelerate the time here by 1,000 times easily. However, as he activated the time law, there was a heavy sluggishness, and he had a feeling that the inner world was going to collapse. He hastily stopped and understood something. It was not that he could not do it. It was just that the inner world had not finished the evolution process yet. It was still in the incipient state, so if he tried to speed up the evolution process with the time law, the inner world would collapse. He came out of his inner world and stood up. He clenched his fist, and he could feel an immense power coursing inside of him. At my current level, I could have blown the previous me away with one punch. It was not an illusion but a fact. After his inner world had turned into a real world, his strength had reached a whole new level. I should probably test it out now. With that thought in mind, Jiang Ming walked toward the heavenly stage in the south. In the meantime, he opened up his status in the Supreme Pagoda, named Xianxia Cultivation Base. Level 10 points accumulated, 11,879 honor, 8th floor. None. He was now at level 10, and he had collected 11,879 points. Jun Sanqian appeared on the first stage. Congratulations. He studied Jiang Ming for a while and exclaimed, "Your foundation is perfected, and I assure you that you'll have a bright future ahead." "Thank you for your compliment, Senior," Jiang Ming replied. "Senior, do planar worlds have a level?" "The planar world? There is the nascent, general, and perfect planar world," Jun Sandian said after a short contemplation. "Just like your inner world, it's considered as a nascent planar world. This kind of planar world is incomplete. Whether it's the operation or the laws or the power of creation, they're still in the evolving stage. Thus, it's hard for intelligent life to be born. Even if intelligent life exists, it will have a lot of flaws in them. For example, Paradise can be transformed into a planar world as well through some measures. However, such worlds can only breed beings with relative attributes and no potential because of their defect. Once the 3,000 laws mature, the power of creation can run freely, and the cycle of reincarnation is completed. It'll turn into a general planar world. Amongst so many worlds, the general planar world is the most abundant. Further up, when the world origin, the laws, or the cycle of reincarnation has reached a certain threshold, it's a perfect planar world, and it can become a small chiliocosm. It's just that it's not that easy to reach that stage. Not only are there tribulations, but also man-made disasters. Generally speaking, among 1,000 planar worlds, only one can become a small chiliocosm, Jun Sanqian explained. A world still has to go through tribulations as well as man-made disasters in the evolution process? Jiang Ming asked, his voice filled with disbelief. Jun Sanqian nodded. The evolution of a world is similar to cultivation. There will be stages and trials. If a world can pass the trial, it'll ascend to the next level. If it can't, it will be the end of the world. As for man-made disasters, it's much simpler. The evolution of a world often comes with great opportunities, which will naturally attract some powerful beings. They might want to absorb the creation energy when the world is evolving or get their hands on world origin. Some even want to take advantage of world evolution to help them in their cultivation. However, this situation rarely happens. After all, it's generally hard to locate a planar world, and most of them are protected by laws and the Great Tao. They will also tend to suffer great tribulations once they hunt a planar world. and whether they can succeed or not, it'll depend on their own ability. As for you, you don't have to worry about anything since your inner world is within you. You're the master of your world, and as long as I exist, no one can touch your inner world. Jun Sandian laughed. Jiang Ming fell silent. This information might not be useful to Jun Sanqian, but it was extremely useful for someone like him. Senior, so can I just leave my inner world alone? Jiang Ming asked again. Yeah, you could, but you can accelerate the evolution if you put more effort into completing it, Jun Sanqian explained. The evolution of the inner world is the process of growing the origin and perfecting the law. If you absorb more world hearts, origin essence, spiritual crystals, and so on, it will speed up the evolution process. But how should I make progress in my cultivation? I just need to focus on my inner world, Jiang Ming asked again. No, with your cultivation system, in your current state, you're slowly severing the ties between you with your world. Eventually, you'll be severed from all laws, and this is known as the severing Tao. After you've broken away from the world, you'll be able to ascend into the next realm, Jun Sanqian answered as he sat down. He gestured to Jiang Ming to sit down and continued. After you've ascended, you will become a pseudo-immortal. In a world of a higher level, the realm will be differentiated into heavenly immortal, true immortal, mystical immortal, and golden immortal. Of course, there are more realms, but this is all you need to know now. After you've become a pseudo-immortal, you should start cultivating the heavenly immortal Tao, otherwise known as the heavenly immortal law and the heavenly immortal fruition. Once you've perfected it, you'll become a heavenly immortal. Your Tao body will undergo drastic changes and your mana will turn into the immortal essence. It's easy to ascend from the pseudo-immortal to the heavenly immortal, and usually it only takes less than a few hundred years. Each realm will have its own fruition and laws, and the difference between each realm is as big as the heaven and the ground. Since you have your inner world, you're a step faster than the rest of the people. For example, when you reach the heavenly immortal realm, you'll have more mana than other people, and you could easily defeat opponents who are stronger than you. Jun Sanqian's eyes were glowing while he was talking. Although Jiang Ming did not have any special feelings, he knew that Jun Sanqian could see through his inner world. There were too many mysteries surrounding the man in front of him, and he wondered how strong he really was. Because of my inner world? Senior, the world I'm in is just a perfect planar world, and level 10 is the maximum my world could contain. Haha! Jun Sanqian laughed. It's a different thing. The world you are in can only contain at most level 10 cultivation, but it's a different case for you. This tolerance limit refers to the limit of how many lives can be born. The power or the essence of a world is exceedingly powerful, and it can be comparable to a golden immortal. You're the owner of your inner world. You're the king and you have command over everything in it. When you're a heavenly immortal, if the inner world evolves to the limit of the planar world, you can mobilize the power equivalent to that of a golden immortal. Do you understand? Understanding instantly dawned upon Jiang Ming. I get it now. My power might be limited when I'm in the heavenly immortal realm, but my inner world can be enhanced infinitely. That's right. After Jiang Ming finished asking his question, he made a bow at Jun Sanqian. Jun Sanqian nodded and said, "Let's get started. Let's go." Jiang Ming replied and cast his world projection, trying to defeat Jun Sandian in one hit. Compared to the last time, he had become a lot more powerful upon the activation of his world projection. The Akasa crumbled. Everywhere it reached, the laws failed to work, and he could defeat an imminent immortal with ease. Even though Jun Sanqian was a level 11 expert, his movement was restricted, and he couldn't use some of his powers. Bam! Lifting his fists high, Yang Ming dashed toward Jun Sanqian. He did not pick any weapon, while Jun Sanqian was still holding a sword like he used to. He waved his sword, and strands of sword energy flew forward, but they could do nothing against Jiang Ming's punch. However, Jiang Ming did not press forward. After he had crushed the strands of sword energy with a punch, he grabbed a wisp of immortal origin and began feeling it. He found out that Jun Sanqian's immortal origin force was not that powerful compared to his worldly force, and he was excited. Upon realizing the difference between him and Jun Sanqian, Jiang Ming activated the unlimited killing punch, throwing a barrage of punches at him and defeating Jun Sanqian. He received 10 points for clearing the first stage. On the second stage, Jiang Ming activated the astral transformation, further amplifying his physical strength and defeating his opponent with ease. The opponent on the third stage shared the same fate as the guy on the second stage. When he reached the fourth stage, there were 2 Jun Sanqians. Both of them were at the peak of level 11. In other words, their strength was equivalent to a heavenly immortal at the peak level. Although they were very strong, they still couldn't stop Jiang Ming. Jiang Ming came to the 7th stage in one go, and this time he was matched up against a level 12 true immortal at the elementary level. It took him a lot of effort to defeat his opponent in the past, but right now he defeated him without any difficulties. The opponents on the 8th and 9th stage were true immortals at the intermediate and peak levels respectively. Both of them gave Yang Ming a hard time, but he still vanquished them in the end. On the 10th stage, it was a level 13 mystical immortal. Jiang Ming stopped and looked at Jun Sanqian. Senior, my inner world formed not long ago. Generally speaking, I shouldn't be this powerful, so how am I able to defeat so many experts? He really couldn't understand at all. Jun Sanqian chuckled and replied, essentially speaking, your inner world is a planar world. The power it contains is comparable to the golden immortal realm. Although the origin power is inferior, its quality is not much different from that of the immortal essence. In fact, the most crucial thing is the several special abilities you have comprehended, which makes you much stronger than many people. For example, your astral transformation that could amplify your strength up to 64 times. It's something that can't be achieved in the mortal world. As for your return of infinite law finger, it consists of several Daos, so it's even more terrifying than the astral transformation. While other techniques such as the Great Catastrophes technique, the Great Five Elemental Technique, and the Great Millennium Technique, they're much weaker since they haven't exceeded the scope of the mortal world. They haven't exceeded the scope of the mortal world, Jiang Ming asked, his voice filled with confusion. He was kind of surprised when he learned that Jun Sanqian found the Great Millennium Technique weak. However, he soon understood why Jun Sanqian would say that. What he had comprehended was the time law for the mortal world, so of course it was a power belonging to the mortal world. No matter how powerful it is, there's a limit for it to grow. So does this mean that I should merge all Daos together? Nope, Jun Sanqian replied. He waved his sword and a trail of fire appeared in the air. As it slowly fell to the ground, the fire kept getting stronger, and Jiang Ming could see the chain of order in the flames. This was the fire law. It was also one of the Daos belonging to the mortal world. Suddenly, the fire law collapsed, and instead of fading away, the flames grew in intensity. It kept growing, and it only stopped after reaching a certain threshold. Each law has the potential of becoming the grand path. The fusion of the laws is difficult, but the advantage is that the special abilities that you comprehend would be very powerful. You belong to this category. The reason I'm saying this is because you have your inner world to support you, Jun Sanqian said. There is no superiority when it comes to Dao, but there is a power difference. For you, since you haven't ascended yet, it would be hard to comprehend the heavenly immortal Dao. If you want to advance to the next step, there are only two ways. One of them is to enhance the origin of the inner world, and another is to comprehend the fusion Dao. Do you know the origin of the inner world is so powerful? It's because of the 3,000 laws. All of them form a whole, creating countless wonders and emitting a strong force. Of course, it doesn't mean that you can abandon the rest of the Daos. Once you've comprehended them to perfection, you'll reach a whole different level. The mortal world is too small, and there are a lot of limitations when it comes to comprehending laws and Daos. Jun Sanqian paused for a moment before continuing. Alright, I guess that should be enough. Let me see if you have what it takes to defeat me or not. Let me warn you first. The mystical immortal realm is on a whole different level compared to the true immortal, especially the mystical immortal Dao. It can bring out countless wondrous effects and is powerful. Jiang Ming made a bow and charged at Jun Sanqian again. He cast the world projection, but it got destroyed in a matter of minutes. Realizing that he couldn't use this move anymore, he activated other special abilities such as the Great Karma Technique and the Great Millennium Technique, but all of them were neutralized by Jun Sanqian with ease. He then tried to defeat Jun Sanqian with the Astral Transformation and the return of Infinite Law Finger, but to no avail. Suddenly, an idea popped into his head. He cast the Great Spiritual Technique, burning his inner world to conjure a sword of soul and attack Jun Sanqian's soul. After that, he followed up with the return of Infinite Law Finger, and he finally defeated Jun Sanqian. Although he won the fight, it was a bitter victory. By the time Jiang Ming arrived at the 11th stage, he had already recovered. I suggest you not to use that again if it is not absolutely necessary. If not, you might really destroy yourself, Jun Sanqian said. That being said, I have to say that you truly have a lot of guts. Well, I can only use it here. Jiang Ming smiled. Senior, can my inner world still recover if it burns out? Well, it depends. The planar world can recover by itself, but it's hard and comes with a cost. There's a chance you might die on the spot too, Jun Sanqian said with a serious expression. Remember, if it's not absolutely necessary, don't ever try to burn your inner world. Even if you have no other choice but to use it, make sure you leave a way back for yourself. Jiang Ming nodded. He did not attempt the stage and left. Name Jiang Ming Cultivation. Level 10 points accumulated. 22,109, 1,890, 79 plus 130. Honor for the 8th level, 10 heavenly stages. To his surprise, he received 10,230 points for clearing 10 stages, and he had 22,109 points right now. After my inner world has evolved, maybe I can attempt the 11th and 12th stage as well as the heavenly ladder. Jiang Ming heaved out a sigh. He was going to wait until his cultivation level had become stable. Then, he would go to get more special abilities before attempting the heavenly ladder and the heavenly stage. He sat in front of the Million Dao chart. He wouldn't be disrupted if he cultivated here. After he sat down, he was enveloped in a fog that cut him out of the outside world. He did not know how long it had been, but his inner world had finally settled down. It was just that there was still nothing but a barren land inside. This is too slow. Jiang Ming stood up and sighed. He finally realized the drawbacks of evolving the inner world. It took too much time. He thought for a moment and came to the heavenly stage. Senior, can you help me to accelerate my time? Jiang Ming asked carefully. Jun Sanqian laughed when he heard what Jiang Ming had asked. You really love to take advantage of other people. Well, I can do that, but I'm not going to help you this time. In fact, you can do it yourself. Myself? Jiang Ming was stunned. It's true that I can speed up the evolution process. It's just that I'm worried I might mess up the laws in the inner world. You don't have to do it here. You can do it outside. Do it outside. Isn't it going to consume the origin force of the inner world? Wouldn't that be bad? You're such a fool. What do you mean, Senior? You've comprehended the time Dao, correct? All you need to do is make a time acceleration formation. Well, Jiang Ming froze. I didn't think of that. Thank you for the suggestion, Senior. Using the time acceleration formation to aid in the cultivation isn't actually very useful for other people, but it's a different case for you. Jiang Ming nodded and left. He thought for a while and returned to reality. It had only been an hour, and it was still morning. The sun at 8 in the morning was bright. Yang Ming closed his eyes for a moment. Everything that happened in reality appeared in his mind. He opened his eyes and said, it's time to get rid of some bugs. Continent. He zoomed in bit by bit, and the situation over there soon appeared in his vision. There was fire everywhere. The mountains were crumbling away and the ground was cracking. Shouts and wails of agony could be heard everywhere, and the people were in pain. It looked just like doomsday. I can understand why they want to kill cultivators, but they're killing commoners too? Yang Ming frowned, and a surge of killing intent erupted from him. Although he was more powerful than most people, there was one thing that he had always insisted on, and that was that the feud between cultivators should not involve ordinary people. The commoners already had a tough life. They were living at the bottom layer of the society, and now they had to be subjected to massacres. He locked onto one person and began checking his information. When he found out that he was going to slaughter every living being in the submerged dragon continent, Jiang Ming couldn't hold himself back anymore. His figure disappeared, and when he reappeared again, he was at the submerged dragon continent. He kept teleporting until he arrived in front of a lavishly decorated restaurant. There were a dozen people on the top floor. All of them had sat down together and were having a lot of fun. Seems like you guys are having a lot of fun. Jiang Ming appeared. He snapped his finger and sealed the area around them. The human path records had also appeared on top of his head. Who are you? The group of people rose to their feet. Some of them tried to activate their items to guard themselves, while the others tried to break through the seal by tearing the space. However, all of their efforts were wasted and their expressions changed. Who am I? I'm the one who came to take your lives, Jiang Ming said. He then stared at the tallest man amongst the group and asked coldly, Chi-Chung, why are you slaughtering commoners? Won't you feel guilty when you kill them? Chi-Chung Mesis, Chi-Chung Metcher. Won't you feels were constricted as a surge of murderous intent erupted from him. How do you know me? Answer my question, Jiang Ming said. You must have a death wish, a young man shouted angrily and threw his sword at Jiang Ming. Jiang Ming glanced at him and he suddenly froze. Blood began to flow from his orifices and he collapsed on the floor in the next second. The young man was dead. Jiang Ming had used the great spiritual technique on him. 9. The expressions of the rest of the people changed. They tried to save the young man, but they found that his soul had been destroyed. Dim it, Chi-Chung growled as a bell that gave out a bright immortal light appeared on his head. This was an immortal weapon. Jiang Ming activated the world projection and pinned them on the floor. Chi-Chung tried to command his bell to attack, but he found that he couldn't move at all. It felt as if the entire space around them had frozen in place. I want to know, won't you guys feel guilty when you kill the commoners? Jiang Ming repeated his question. Chi-Chung's face turned ashen pale in fear. It occurred to him that the man before him was much stronger than all of them here. Who are you? Chi-Chung asked. Yang Ming smiled, and his eyes glowed. He sealed their power away but amplified their sensation and feelings 1,000 times. Swoosh! In the next second, multiple wind blades appeared in the air and fell on Chi-Chung and his group, cutting through their flesh slowly. Cries of pain rang out in the air. Normally speaking, they wouldn't even be bothered by such an attack. They wouldn't even shed a single tear when they lost their limbs. However, things were different right now. Their feelings and sensation had been amplified by 1,000 times, not to mention that their power had been sealed away. They couldn't even do anything right now, and all they could do was shout in pain. Won't you guys feel guilty when you kill the commoners? Yang Ming asked again. Will you feel guilty when you kill an ant? Chi-Chung's voice rang out amidst the cries. Who are you, Senior? Why are you attacking us? You aren't someone from this place at all. Well, it seems like I can't expect monsters to have the heart of a human. Yang Ming turned around. Honestly, he had expected an answer like that. He continued to torture them for a long while before destroying their souls. Jiang Ming stretched his arm and collected all the origin essence in the sky not far away. He absorbed them into his inner world to nourish the origin. Today is a good day for some hunting. Jiang Ming rushed here and there, and it took him merely a few minutes to kill all of the beneficiaries that came to his world. After that, he returned to the Juyang sect. On Chuyang Peak, not yet, Yang Ming said. He pointed to the air in front of him, and the world monitoring mirror materialized itself. What is this, senior brother? It's the world monitoring mirror. It can see everything in this world. Really? That's awesome, Linglong exclaimed. See everything in this world? Xiao was shocked as well. So, can you find those intruders? Yang Ming nodded. He flicked his finger and a place appeared in the mirror. It was a huge castle. The wall had crumbled and the houses were on fire. Zombies and monsters were running on the street and the people were wailing in agony. Dim it, Linglong growled. We've got to help them, Xiao said. Yang Ming did not say anything. After checking the area, he disappeared again. Since they had the guts to lay their hands on the commoners, he was going to kill them all. This time, he killed most of the beneficiaries in different locations. One of them had 3 clones and was a lot stronger than the rest. That fellow was confident that he had the ability to slay an immortal. But unfortunately, he ran into him today, and there was only one ending for him: death. It was already afternoon by the time he returned. Girl, go tell the sect master that there are no more intruders in Qing province, Jiang Ming said before throwing himself on the chair. He looked at the vines above him, and his heart was slowly calming down. All right. 5 Elemental Linglong sent a message to the main peak. After that, she squatted in front of Jiang Ming and asked, "Do you feel better now?" "Yeah," Jiang Ming smiled. "I initially intended to get some rest today, but these things came out and ruined my plan. Yeah, they're the worst." Linglong picked an orange from the fruit basket that the flower fairy carried over. After she peeled it, she popped one into Jiang Ming's mouth. Xiao was rendered speechless. "Just because they disturbed you while you were resting, you killed them all? I can say with certainty that you're either the son of the world or the reincarnation of an immortal emperor," Xiao said. "Only the son of the world is capable of seeing everything that's happening around the world. Besides, Brother Jiang, have you ever used this skill to peek at girls while they are taking a bath? That sounds pretty nice. Senior brother, let's watch it." 5 Elemental Linglong's eyes glowed. "I'm sure it must be a pleasure to see a group of fairies taking a bath together. Should we start with Jiaoyang Peak first? You're becoming more and more like a demon girl," Jiang Ming said as he rolled his eyes at Linglong. He wanted to watch them take a bath as well, but he knew he couldn't do it. "I thought you were going to get jealous, but it turns out that it's your senior brother who got jealous," Shi Yao said. The sun was bright, but the weather was breezy. While the 3 of them were talking, Shi Yao was mumbling inwardly. Just who is he? He's so powerful, and I bet he hasn't used his full strength yet. It took him only half a day, and he has already gotten rid of all those intruders. This is just too ridiculous. Also, about that world monitoring mirror. Not only can he use it to observe the world, but it can also pinpoint the location of those intruders. Besides, I can get different enlightenment every day I cultivate here. It's even better than my sacred land. They're known as Huyang Peak on the surface, but I'm certain that their real identity must be terrifying. Suddenly, Shi Yao's heart trembled, and a hint of inferiority rose from the bottom of her stomach pit. The Human Path Records was floating right in front of Jiang Ming as he flipped over to a certain page. Name: Spatial Linglong Race, Human Gender, Female Cultivation Base, Dao Seed Realm Background, Clone of Z Linglong, a disciple of the Juyang Sect's Chuyang Peak Relationship, 99 innate talent, immortal, spatial Taoist body, status, conceived through the creation of clones, great relation with senior brother, enjoys the joy of human life, turning obsession into emotions, heart bounded by the body, forever unchanged. Went out to search for great encounters, headed toward the Zhong province and finally found the ruins of the ancient immortal war. Faced difficulties with each and every step as the dangers were boundless, yet managed to turn the corner and reaped countless benefits from the encounters. After reading the status, Jiang Ming kept the Human Path Records. He often checked on the status of Spatial Linglong to prevent any accidents from happening to her. Never did he expect Spatial Linglong to have entered some sort of ruins of the ancient immortal war. The word ancient must be referring to ages ago. However, it was difficult to confirm whether immortals had participated in the immortal war, and the word ruins showed that the war must have been tragic and that this ruin had been hidden very well. Otherwise, it would have been discovered long ago and Spatial Linglong wouldn't have found it to this day. As Jiang Ming saw the phrase "faced difficulties with each and every step," he was worried for her but couldn't do anything for the time being. That was Z Linglong's great encounter, and he did not want to disturb unless it was necessary. As for the relationship value of 99, Jiang Ming smiled knowingly. The phrase obsession into emotions, heart bounded by the body, forever unchanged, made Jiang Ming feel complicated. He understood that he was everything to his junior sister, but what about the other way around? Jiang Ming didn't continue pondering over it. After resting briefly, Jiang Ming could not stand being idle and got up to make lunch. This time the menu was simple, a dish of minced meat noodle. The minced meat was quite good as it was made of venison from the nine-colored deer. He had accidentally discovered the nine-colored deer when he was heading toward the southern region. He had seen this deer demon that radiated 9 different colors and was truly a sight to behold. It looked very beautiful, which had led him to think that the taste would be great. Thus, he ended up butchering it. By lunchtime, this ingredient was just right. 9-colored deer. The corner of Xiao's mouth twitched. I've heard that there was a peerless Paradise deer demon with invincible special abilities in the southern region, hence reigning over the area. The seniors in my sect even commented before that this deer demon had the potential even to reach the imminent immortal realm, yet who would have thought she became someone's meal today? Brother Jiang, she's a woman who had an alluring physique and a face that could launch 1,000 ships. Her body radiated 9 layers of halo and had an extremely attractive body fragrance. How could you bear to behead her? She was in demon form when I found her. Jiang Ming didn't expect it and added, I didn't expect that she had such a background. You wouldn't kill her if she was in her human form? She looked delicious and so I killed her. If she was in human form, where would I have the appetite for it? You're really? Xi Yao was at a loss of words and ended up just smiling. Fortunately, she was in her demon form. Otherwise, where could we enjoy such a delicacy? To think that 9-colored deer has 9 different flavors. Such wonders. Senior brother, let's catch all of the demons in the southern region and raise them in captivity. That way we can eat them as we like, Linglong suggested. This can be put into consideration. Jiang Ming's eyes lit up. Xi Yao was simply shocked upon hearing what the two had just said. Ding, congratulations to the host for enjoying 9 different tastes for a meal of lunch. You are rewarded with a part of the sky-shattering sword technique. Upon hearing the reminder, he was very surprised. This sword technique's strength was beyond the realm of the mortal world. It could cut down boundless laws, cut through heaven and earth, and rip through the infinite space to launch attacks across portals. This was truly a peerless sword technique, a technique that was purely for killing. Jiang Ming separated part of his focus onto silently understanding the sword technique, but most of his focus was still on his inner world, where he was promoting its evolution and quickly absorbing the origin essence he obtained to strengthen his inner core. The remaining invaders were all extremely frightened. In a blink of an eye, more than 80% of the Lord God's beneficiaries who were prepared to run rampant in the world were killed, leaving the rest in panic. They quickly realized something strange: whoever killed the mortals would be quickly killed. At this point, how could they still not understand what was happening? They must be monitored by an unknown existence. Killing the ordinary mortals was a big taboo, yet their mission was to eradicate the world. How could they complete the mission if they couldn't kill all of them? The remaining beneficiaries were in total despair. After pondering over their despair, they quickly turned their aim over to earning more points so that they won't be eradicated for failing the mission. Thus, they began to hunt down the strong experts of various sects. Relatively speaking, the eastern region was much calmer. The beneficiaries could only hunt down the experts from the Qingyun sect in the Feng and Yun provinces. Once their battleground went outside of the 2 provinces, they would be immediately killed. Under this situation, not only were the beneficiaries startled, but the local forces were shocked as well. All of them recalled the same person, the one who had destroyed the foreign demons in the northern region. Time slowly flowed by, and the mountain was as calm as ever. It was the 20th of December, year 9999 of the Great Zhou calendar. That day, the real junior sister was about to end her cultivation session. Her clones had all been formed completely. The night quickly fell as the bright moonlight loomed over the skies. Xi Yao was quietly meditating over the far north. Even so, the manor was still sealed shut. Senior brother, what do you think? 9 junior sisters asked at the same time. There was the tall one, the cute and helpless one, the voluptuous one, the young and inexperienced one, the mature one, and such. They were all similar yet different at the same time. They surrounded Jiang Ming with smiles on their faces. They were swaying around, each showing their unique beauty. I'm dazzled. Jiang Ming knew that this would eventually happen, but he was still a little stunned and at a loss of words when it did. He. Linglong could not help bursting into laughter as she held onto his arm. There are 9 clones in total. Other than spatial, there's also time, yin-yang, 5 elemental, light and darkness, life and death, karma, reincarnation, and phoenix. I stripped out all my phoenix bloodline to form another clone so that I myself can merge with the innate Saint Taoist body. 9 clones and the real you. That makes you a perfect 10 then? Jiang Ming joked around. Yep, it's a perfect 10, but senior brother, there's only one of you. As long as the bed is big enough, then it'll be fine. Can you handle all of us, though? Oh, you are underestimating me too much. That night was one without conversation. On the evening of the next day, Jiang Ming came over to the rooftop, seemingly as though he was fleeing. He hunched over and trembled as he made himself a nourishing medicinal meal. Upon finishing the medicinal meal, he felt much better. Ding, congratulations to the host for making and eating a satisfying meal. Rewarded a bottle of super enhanced Romania 6 formula. Jiang Ming silently raised a middle finger at it. He was a person who could even kill immortal. What did he need these pills for? He opened the bottle to take a sniff and was instantly hit with an energetic feeling, which made him feel like taking the pills. He took a deep breath and carefully put the pills away. Senior brother, should we have another night of 10 out of 9 tonight? Linglong laughed softly. Jiang Ming was rendered speechless as he quickly changed the subject and asked, why do these clones all have different cultivation realms? I'm actually just beginning to understand some of the symbota. Take the time symbota and the reincarnation symbota, for example. If the understanding of symbota is weaker, then their cultivation will be weaker as well. However, I feel our cultivation will be able to reach its pinnacle up in the mountains quickly. Senior brother, I discovered that cultivating on the bed had a great effect on our cultivations that's even better than sudden enlightenment. You will have to work harder. Linglong smiled. Aren't you worried that you might tire me to death? Senior brother, don't think like I don't know. You won't be tired to death even if there's another 1,000 of me. Senior brother, is it that you no longer like me? Should I maybe get Shi Yao over? Screw you. What cultivation path is your real self currently taking? The innate Saint Taoist body has a strong physique and a great affinity with boundless Taos. I plan on walking the path of cultivating physiques. As for the major cultivation, I'm not sure yet. I have clones that need to raise their cultivation base quickly, so I'm thinking of going for an easier Tao. Senior brother, do you have any suggestions? An easy one. Yang Ming hesitated for a bit. He was pondering over which was considered easy. Wood, fire, earth, gold, and water were easy, but way too easy. Moreover, there was a 5-elemental clone already, so there was no need for them. I guess you should just base it on your current situation, Jiang Ming replied. Just walk the path depending on which Tao you prefer. I'll assist you in your cultivation to reach the imminent immortal realm as soon as possible. I'll go for the Sword Tao then. Linglong thought for a moment before coming to a decision. The Sword Tao can merge with boundless special abilities, has great offensive capability, and can also be used for defense. That works, Jiang Ming replied. You have a lot of clones that are currently cultivating different Taos. If you merge all the Taos into your Sword Tao with boundless Tao all into a single furnace, you might even pave a new path on the Sword Tao. Since it's been decided, I'll go cultivate right now. Linglong waved before leaping into the air, flying toward the spiritual farm behind. Before leaving, she left a message saying, the 8 of them will take turns with you. Let them quickly reach the pinnacle of the Tao seed. Once I break through myself, it will allow them to improve even further. Should I be happy or depressed? Jiang Ming had a complicated expression and sighed inexplicably. Jiang Ming quietly dispersed the seal. As he looked over the other peaks, he discovered divine lights that were constantly rising along with excited laughter from time to time. He understood that those were the disciples breaking through. It used to happen occasionally, but it now happened almost every time of the day. Jiang Ming's divine sense swept through the peaks and discovered that the number of people who had reached the core formation realm had doubled. It was unbelievable that this happened in such a short time. However, he understood that these were the results of their accumulation of cultivation in the past. When the surroundings of the sect went through drastic changes, it transformed this accumulation into sublimation, causing so many of them to break through. At that moment, a stream of light flew over. Jiang Ming reached out and grabbed it. Quickly realizing it was a message from Gu Hai. It was written there would be a selection of disciples by the sect in 10 days' time to replace the ones that had been lost. He was asking for Linglong and him to come over together and see if there was anyone that matched their taste and make them direct disciples. Expanding? The last time the sect had experienced an invasion, quite many were lost in battle. Now that the sect was trying to expand, the remaining disciples seemed to be at a lower number. Since the sect had stabilized, it was naturally the best time to be recruiting disciples. Another 10 days will also be the day the 10-year duration is up. Jiang Ming gazed afar with much anticipation. It was going to be a whole 10 years. What might be the reward? What surprises will there be? First seat Jiang. Chang Yiming flew from afar as his clothes fluttered in the air with that round belly of his. He was always cheerful and carefree but had a gloomy face this time around. Jiang Ming had a bad feeling that something had happened. Chang Yiming sat down on top of the roof as Jiang Ming poured him a cup of tea and pushed it over to him. After being silent for a while, Chang Yiming finally spoke up. Brother Jiang is dead. How did he die? Jiang Ming was taken aback by the shocking news. Brother Jiang was a gentle and elegant person, topped off with his handsome looks and extraordinary potential. There were few who could even be compared to him in the sect. Being such an outstanding and strong person, how did he suddenly die like that? Chang Yiming slowly explained the details of his demise. The expansion of our sect requires the elite disciples to stand guard. As Chunyang Peak's head disciple, Shang Junbao was no exception. However, with so many forces that tried to invade the Juyang sect previously, there were naturally a few who escaped and retreated successfully. Many of them retaliated and killed quite a number of our disciples, including Brother Zhang. Doesn't our sect own a bunch of Dao vessels? Did Brother Zhang not have one? Jiang Ming asked. He did, but he did not have much time to fully integrate the Dao vessel before they were set up again. Because he couldn't fully exert its power, he ended up dead in the siege, Chang Yiming replied with a bitter smile. What about the enemy? We tracked them down and killed every one of them. Upon hearing his answer, Jiang Ming was silent / he did not even have the chance to take revenge. There was a sudden instance of depression looming through the air. The two continued chatting while drinking tea. Because of this incident, the first seat of Chunyang Peak went crazy and slaughtered many of the enemies. The sect even caused a bloodbath in various places all over the Qing province. Who knew how many cultivators were killed at that time? Senior brother Chang, what do you say if you stay here up in the mountains to cultivate? It's safer here and there shouldn't be many restrictions either. If you have any queries, you can ask me anytime. Jiang Ming managed to convince Chang Yiming to stay. He had only a few friends in the sect and one of them had now died. Although the uprising and death of cultivators were but a norm, it was still difficult for a person to let go if it fell on oneself. All in all, there was nothing that could be done. Chang Yiming did not leave and created his own residence on the edge of a cliff. He was prepared to continue his cultivation there. In his own words, he claimed that if he didn't become powerful, he wouldn't stop cultivating. Yang Ming had his dinner that night with Yin Yang Jr.'s sister. Among the variety of dishes on the huge table, the ingredients used were the ones flying in the sky, the ones that lurked in the earth, and those that swam in the water. Each dish was gleaming in bright luminance as its fragrance pampered everyone's nose. Moreover, there was even the company of beautiful women. It was truly a delicious meal. Senior brother, these are really delicious. Yin Yang Lingalong happily enjoyed her meal as she requested, I want to eat this every day. Alright, even 3 meals a day is not a problem. Senior brother, you're the best. Haha, of course I am. Senior brother, finish your meal faster so that we can resume training. Training? Yeah, training on the bed. Jiang Ming couldn't help but cough upon hearing her answer. Yin and Yang are the great Taos of the mortal realm. You are Yang, while I am Yin. The harmony of Yin and Yang complements each other and is truly a good fortune. Isn't there a saying that says lust and gluttony are the human sins and virtue? Comprehending the mystery of Yin Yang after a satisfying meal is the natural way of the great Tao. You cheeky girl. Wait, something's not right. Why do I feel that each of you has a different personality? I thought all the clones' personalities should follow the original one, right? Senior brother, that's where you are wrong. The formation of our characters has innate factors, such as the embodiment of the real flesh and blood, and there are also the acquired factors, such as the living environment. I have a newly formed body, so I will naturally be affected and form a distinct personality. Fret not, senior brother. We are all clones of the original one and will never become truly independent in any case. As long as you can control yourself, then everything's good. Hehe, if you're finished with your meal, let's go. You are mine tonight, but tomorrow it won't be my turn anymore. Why do I feel so awkward? You are pushing your luck. Different companions every day, different partners every night. Jiang Ming was rendered speechless. Suddenly, the system's reminder popped up. Ding! Congratulations to the host for enjoying a meal of yin yang, eating eagerly and restlessly. Rewarded with a bottle of lubricant and a set of black and white lace stockings. Jiang Ming almost choked on his meal. Son of a... To think that such a reward would even come up. Are you taking me for a fool? Jiang Ming sealed off the manner with a wave of his hand as he carried Yin Yang Linglong back into his room. It was a night of repetitive exercise, swaying side to side and thrusting back and forth. Up above one of the mountains in the southern region, a sudden deafening blast resounded. A terrifying wave of aura dispersed wildly from the top of the mountain peak. Its trembling power traveled through the air as the power of laws slowly materialized, rendering the mountain unable to bear such force, and it collapsed. Haha, I finally stepped into the extreme path realm. A loud peal of laughter could be heard coming from the cave's interior. A burly middle-aged man rose into the air, suppressing the dust and mist as he landed on top of another mountain. His body radiated with a violent aura that could twist the laws and suppress boundless Taos. At that moment, he suddenly screamed abruptly. Blood started to spurt out of his 7 orifices, turning into streaks of fiery snakes as he clenched his arms over his head and shrieked in pain. Boundless energy radiated into the surroundings, destroying anything and everything. Even the mountains below collapsed from the sheer power. Who is this? Who are you? Why are you in my bloodline? Why did you emerge in my paradise subconscious? Damn it, you're trying to take over me? He continued screaming incessantly, yet, after a short while, he stopped screaming and waved over his hand in a domineering gesture. His eyes stared into the world with an overbearing look. I, the Devil King, have finally been reborn. He placed his hands behind his back and respired a massive amount of heaven and earth energy. It allowed his body's power to continue skyrocketing after the breakthrough as though there was no end to it. 9 bloodline demon seeds, and only this one here remains. The Devil King sighed. One is fine. However, he raised his head, gazed at the sky, and felt the boundless aura of death, suffocation, resentment, and curses through heaven and earth. He couldn't help but frown. This world here. Why does this world feel so shattered? It shouldn't be. What happened here? Is it about to start? He closed his eyes and slowly absorbed the memories of his body. Northern region, invasion by foreign devils, yet were all killed by one person, and even the portal was destroyed? At least thousands of level 10 experts were killed? How is that possible? People from foreign territories descend to different places. The human race is spreading rumors about the apocalypse. Could it be that organization? This is really troublesome. Why has this world changed so much? I'm afraid it will be difficult to deal with this issue with the current transformed devil body of mine. I need first to collect a few things and gather a group of men. After waiting for hundreds of millions of years, even if the world gets destroyed, I will investigate thoroughly this time no matter what. With a swift sway, the Devil King disappeared without a trace. At the Tianyuan School of Zhang Province, a person walked out of the time room in the forbidden area. That person was none other than Tianxi. Only this time there were various huge changes to him. His eyes were deep like swamps, and his aura was like the abyss. With his hand behind his back, he gazed into the night sky, and his calm face suddenly flashed a strange look. My accumulation of cultivation is always enough. My last defeat against Zi Linglong allowed me to comprehend the light and dark Tao. This time I shut myself into cultivation in the time house, broke through a few realms, and finally reached the Paradise realm. Who would have thought I'd awaken my past memories? Immortal General. Ha, I'm an immortal general. Only a strand of immortal soul left and was projected into this world with even a mission at hand. Golden Heaven Path. And the mystical light sword has actually been robbed off? Who can even rob such a thing in this world here? Who is it? With my memories awakening and being in the Tianyuan school here, one of the ancient forces, there is no shortage of resources. I can step into the imminent immortal realm in a short time and start planning. I will definitely unearth the secret this time. As Tianxi took a step forward, the lights distorted and he disappeared without a trace. In a glimpse of an eye, 10 days passed by. Tomorrow would be the beginning of the 10,000 years of the Great Zhou calendar. On the year's last night, Jiang Ming stood on top of the roof overlooking the spiritual field. Zi Linglong's real self was sitting cross-legged on top of the spiritual mountains surrounded by a few of her clones as all of their cultivations were skyrocketing. It was especially faster for her real self as she had the innate Saint Taoist body with a great physique and possessed boundless Tao fluctuations. Along with the blessing of the supreme memories, her major cultivation of Sword Tao was rising rapidly. Without the need to comprehend the spatial, time, five-elemental, yin-yang, and other symboda, there was nothing that restricted her progress. Her cultivation rose rapidly as though leaping a realm every single day. She extracted the endless spiritual key from the spiritual mountains, integrated it into herself, and also practiced the sexual cultivation technique that suited her Saint Taoist body, which sped up her cultivation beyond anyone's imagination. Speeding through the Tao seed and nascent soul realms, she advanced into the primal spirit realm in only 10 days' time, which was incredible. Even Jiang Ming was shocked by her progress and commented, "By majoring on a single Tao coupled with ample resources, Junior Sister's cultivation speed is truly terrifying. She should be the child of destiny, the child of luck, and the child of the word. If I didn't have the system, how could I even compare to her?" He saw several long rivers of spiritual ki that appeared around Zi Linglong, constantly merging into her body. It was as though she was a black hole that was constantly devouring. If she was cultivating in the outside world, she would have sucked dry the spiritual ki in the sect within the time it takes to drink a cup of tea. Jiang Ming shook his head and laughed. Not sure if the Paradise realm might stop Junior Sister on her track. Just as Jiang Ming pondered over it, the void above Linglong's head was distorted, and a shadow appeared suddenly. The shadow then continued evolving into a spatial void that was filled with boundless sword energy. Such heteromorphism was obviously the projection of the Paradise realm. Jiang Ming was speechless and utterly shocked. In the past, cultivation of various different symbodas, coupled with a limited supply of spirit crystals and other resources, had restricted the growth of Junior Sister. Now that she's majoring in cultivating a single Tao, she has become a genuine phoenix that is deafening through the 9 skies. Or rather, Jiang Ming thought of another possibility. Could it be that I accidentally pierced her limiter? The time was exactly WO on the 1st of January, year 10,000 of the Great Zhou calendar. Ding! Congratulations to the host for living on Chuyang Peak for 10 continuous years and insisting on working and cooking daily. Rewarded with 1,000 wisps of origin essence, 5 strips of top-grade spiritual veins, a set of sword tome, 1 universe sword, 1 universe furnace, and 1 of Fuda talisman. The rewards were not many. In fact, very few rewards were given, yet each of them was exquisite. Origin essence. Each strip was akin to a long river where there was an overwhelming power of creation embedded in it. Yang Ming directly merged them into his inner world. In an instant, the origin essence rapidly decomposed and integrated into every corner of the world, causing the order of the world to accelerate by 10,000 folds abruptly. The inner world's area was also expanding rapidly. Originally, Jiang Ming had killed a lot of beneficiaries and gotten his hands on quite a number of origin essences. Upon absorption, his inner world had expanded from its original 1 million mile radius into a 1.2 million mile radius already. Now that the inner world further absorbed 1,000 strips of origin essence, its area expanded directly to about 1.5 million miles and was still expanding rapidly. The spatial condition of the inner world became much more stable, and the spiritual key was getting denser. The law of order was also tuned to a perfect state as the core continuously expanded. Such rapid improvement was truly astounding. Once the strips of origin essence merge completely, I wonder what extent my inner world will reach. Jiang Ming was thrilled about it. At the same time, waves of energy were fed back into his physique. He quickly evoked the Grand Path Almighty Method Sutra to temper his body, allowing it to grow stronger constantly. Such overall enhancement was from the inside out. Jiang Ming did not pause and continued placing the other 5 strips of spiritual veins to merge into the lands of his inner world. The spiritual veins were of top grade, which was rare even in the Tianyuan world. Not only could they automatically evolve the spiritual key and sort out the ley lines, but they also had the effect of suppressing the earth, atomically making different kinds of ley lines condense and operate in an orderly manner. The most important thing was that it could also improve the world's core and expand its space. After all these completely merge with my inner world, will my inner world directly reach its perfect state? The system's rewards are still the best. Jiang Ming felt powerful, as if it was an enhancement after breaking through a realm. Sword Tome, expounding the Supreme Sword Tao. Universe Sword, level 14 Immortal Soldier, possesses unparalleled attack. Universe Furnace, level 14 Immortal Weapon, able to refine weapons and pills. It can be used for defense and suppression. Ofuda Talisman, restricted by the Tao contract, it can be integrated into those who are of a lower realm than the caster, forming a slave or servant connection between the casters as though the person was a puppet. It does not change the will, nor does it distort the heart, and it is difficult to be detected or changed without the power of the great Tao. They were great items, especially the sword and the furnace, which were both absolutely supreme weapons. After imprinting the weapons with droplets of blood, Jiang Ming directly merged the universe furnace into his inner world to use it as an item from suppression and to be used as protection at the same time. After all, the inner world was fundamental and he could not risk anything happening to it. Now that he owned such an item, he had a better guarantee of his inner world's safety. He thought, what was the most insane of all was the Ofuda Talisman. My goodness. A deed for forcing enslavement? This is over the top already. How can they be enslaved without changing the person's will or distorting the heart? Moreover, it cannot be detected and changed unless the power of Great Tao is used. It's too outrageous. The only downside is that the person you use it on cannot exceed the level of your own realm, which is a little ineffective to say the least. Jiang Ming was out of words. Even the Great Tao was mentioned, and yet the item could not be used against those stronger than himself. Just thinking about it hurt. I'm afraid that it will take another 10 years for the next great batch of rewards, Jiang Ming thought as he walked out of his room. He sat on top of the roof and watched as the moonlight bathed over the land. With a few taps, he took out the world monitoring mirror and saw that there were not many lights, only 10 or so left. I'll just let you cause some trouble. He did not plan to continue paying attention to them. He would leave them to the many sacred lands to deal with them. Even if some incidents happened in the future, he could just kill them at any time. Jiang Ming lay on a rattan chair, swaying slowly and enjoying the tranquility of the night. He evoked the human path records to take a look at his own status. Name Jiang Ming Cultivation Base. Imminent Immortal Realm Major Cultivation. Grand Path Almighty Method Sutra Special Ability. Return of Infinite Law Fingers. Astral Transformation. Heaven Shattering Sword Technique. Verdant Emperor Spirit Transformation Technique. Unlimited Killing Punch. The Great Spatial Technique. The Great Millennium Technique. The Great Body Protection Technique. Great 5 Elemental Technique. Great Yin-Yang Technique, and etc. Innate Talent, Immortal Tertiary Taoist Body Item, Human Path Records, Supreme Order, Saint Province Tao Square, Sword Tome, Dragon Phoenix, Heavenly Heartbed, Ofuda Talisman, Level 14 Universe Sword, Universe Furnace, Mystical Light Sword, Heavenly Warblade, Heavenly Feathered Shirt, Celestial Soul Bell, Starry Hall, Heavenly Arc. Top-graded Tao Vessel Combat Mannequin, 1 Special Ability Bead, 5-minute Extreme Path Experience Card. Support, Primary Training Zone. Jiang Ming's status did not have huge changes. What was more obvious was that his cultivation base had risen to the imminent immortal realm. The the sky-shattering sword technique was added to his special abilities and he had a few additional Dao vessels. The next morning, Senior Brother, today the sect will be holding a ceremony to accept new apprentices. Are you planning on taking in any disciples? Ling Long asked while she was helping to stir the egg mixture herself. We'll see what happens. Jiang Ming hesitated. After all, Chuyang Peak is one of the main peaks. It wouldn't make sense if there were only the two of us here at the peak. What about you? Do you have any plans to take in disciples? I'm only 20 years old, for crying out loud. How can I accept disciples when I'm still so young myself?
Haha, you seem to realize that you are still young. Am I really young though? Ling Long asked as she puffed out her chest, causing Jiang Ming's nose to feel warm suddenly. It was a simple breakfast that morning.
After the meal, the rewards came, and this time it was one blood dominator pill. Upon consuming the pill, it could alter the person's bloodline to become the celestial tyrant body, truly a potent effect. Chang Yiming walked over and asked, Brother Jiang, shall we go together? Let's go, Jiang Ming replied swiftly before asking, Are you prepared to accept disciples of your own? Of course I am, Chang Yiming answered with a smile. After all, I'm already in the Purple Mansion realm and am currently the head disciple of Luoyang Peak. I've long qualified for this. Given the opportunity this time around, I will take in a disciple one way or the other. My disciple will be doing all the hard work, and I'll just be the shopkeeper resting at the back. If your senior uncle knew you had such a plan in mind, you would surely be getting a beating from him. Chang Yiming only chuckled as the three walked away together. On Reception Peak, there was a huge square which was made by cutting off the top of a mountain, with jaded white bridges connecting the places together. The surroundings were shrouded with a thin mist as though it was a scene straight from an immortal's dwelling. There were tens of thousands of teenagers gathered in the square. Most of them were in their early teen years. They were all great seedlings selected all over Qing province, each giving off a feeling of ignorance but was ablaze with fervent. It was especially true for the ones who were looking at the sect master and the others who were standing mid-air. The fiery spirit burning in the teenagers' eyes looked as though it was materializing due to them getting overly high-spirited. Many people would have to kneel upon seeing these masters if they weren't strictly warned. Ling Long, Ming Yiming, you have arrived. Upon seeing the three of them, the sect master immediately greeted them. Although it wasn't that obvious, it was clear that he was very enthusiastic. The rest of the first seats also came over. All of them knew that everything the Juyang sect had today was Zi Linglong's doing. Hail the sect master. Jiang Ming clenched his fist, greeting with a bow as Zi Linglong did the same. The sect master was a little flattered and ecstatic in his heart. From Jiang Ming's gesture, he clearly saw that Jiang Ming didn't give off a distant feeling toward the sect. Nor was he arrogant at all, still regarding himself as a disciple of the Juyang sect. That much was already enough for him. You don't have to be too polite. The sect master waved his hand quickly and asked, Planning to accept a disciple today? I'll have a look first. Sect master, are there any rules here? Jiang Ming asked. It's very simple, the sect master answered. Each main peak can first select those they think possess excellent aptitude and bring the candidates back to their respective peaks. The rest of the candidates will be temporarily placed in the outer sect and undergo training together. In 3 years' time, if these candidates do not meet the requirements, they will have to return to where they came from, whereas those who meet the requirement will be officially enlisted as outer disciples. Yang Ming understood the process clearly upon listening to the sect master's explanation. Back then, he hadn't gone through such a process as Gu Hao had brought him back to Quyang Peak to be his direct disciple. It was truly a major leap, skipping the whole process. If he had to start from being in the outer sect, he would have had to grow slowly, fight for resources, cultivate diligently, and finally reach the foundation establishment realm before he could apply to become the inner disciples of one of the main peaks. Junior brother Gu Hai intends to hand over the position as the first seat to you. You seem to be wise and responsible, so you will temporarily take on the first seat position. There are very few people at Chuyang Peak, so we will let you choose first. If you see any of them that suit you, feel free to choose one or two of them, the sect master thoughtfully offered. All right, Jiang Ming took up on his offer and continued. Sect master, I'll be using our Chuyang Peak selection method then. You may. Sect master nodded with a smile on his face. He took a short glance at Zi Linglong and quickly noticed that she was standing right next to Jiang Ming the whole time, not saying a word. In his heart, he now fully understood what Gu Hai meant when he said, that little girl Linglong. I've raised her in vain. She treats her senior brother better than me. Jiang Ming glanced through tens of thousands of these teenagers, all full of energy and brimming with spirit. Those that were brought up to the mountains must have gone through selections and were all good seedlings. Jiang Ming transmitted a few words to Zi Linglong, and she quickly leaped up in the air. An invincible wave of energy shrouded the whole square with just a simple thought. In an instant, the tens of thousands of teenagers suddenly found that all figures beside them had disappeared, and they were left all alone. The sky darkened, quickly turning pitch black, and soon they realized they couldn't even see their own fingers if they wanted. It felt as if a huge mountain was pressing down on them, trying to pressure and suffocate them. Most of the teenagers knew that this was a test. Even so, when placed in absolute darkness, they couldn't help but start to panic and get scared. In their minds, such terrifying pressure was forcing them to break down. One by one, the teenagers' eyes slowly became dull, and their bodies began to sway. Some of them fell head first, and the darkness immediately faded, and so did the overwhelming pressure. They noticed that their feet were still planted on the square and they were still surrounded by teenagers. Their faces turned pale as they knew that they were finished in their hearts. The teenagers fell face down one after another as the sect master and the rest watched in silence. This is just a test of will. Liang Peak's first seat, Dongfang Li, transmitted to the sect master. Accepting disciples should be based on the root bones. Sect master, is she correct for selecting disciples in such a way? Even if the person has a strong will, their cultivation will be immensely slow and their potential will be limited with a weak root bone. Junior brother Dongfang, you're looking at the small picture. The sect master casually transmitted. Do you think she doesn't have anything that can change a person's root bone with her? In her perspective, the root bone isn't that important to her. On the contrary, what's important to her is a person's will and comprehension. If a person has a will of steel, they will possess a firm mind. As for comprehension, with the current resources available for cultivation, it isn't comparatively as important as a person's will. This, Dongfang Li smiled bitterly. You're right, the sect has been developing way too fast. My vision has been a little too short. The sect master took the matter seriously. In the end, 10 people slowly rose up in the square. They had dull eyes and were trembling all over as though they might fall down at any moment. Obviously, this was Linglong's intention, as it was easier to distinguish them apart from the rest by floating them in mid-air. Of course, the remaining 10 candidates were extraordinary compared to the rest. Jiang Ming slowly inspected each and every one of them. His pupils quickly shrank when his eyes locked onto one of the young girls with 2 ponytails. The reincarnation transmigration technique. There's even such a special ability. This is a great technique indeed.